Today, I would like to thank Interrogation Files. You'll see the link to Interrogation Files shared by Nightbot throughout this stream, okay? The channel is called Interrogation Files, as you could see. All right. Go and subscribe over there. Please say that you're a Grizzly. I'm going to send you. So he was kind enough to send me the full police interview, because this is 2 hours and 25 minutes, and I was curious if is there any more footage, like is this the full one? And so he actually kindly sent me the full file so that we could watch it, and he said that he thinks that the Grizzlies would really like to watch the full police interview. Isn't that so kind? Oh my goodness. So Interrogation Files is where to subscribe and say thank you and all of that. You can also go and watch, I've linked his video in the description box so that you can go and check it out there with no commentary, because some people don't like the stop-start or the commentary. I don't plan on talking too much, but I definitely would like to make some commentary. I will now share it with you. I'll put the link in the chat. Here it is. Okay. And Nightbot's also going to share it, and it's also in the description box. All right. So are we almost ready, right? Let me quickly see. Swifty says, my son-in-law is law enforcement in Alaska, in Anchorage, right? In Alaska. He won't tell me anything. Oh, man. Okay. He won't tell you anything. He's just like, nope. Sealed. So I'm so thankful that we get to see the full police interrogation today. And my goodness, this Brian Smith guy, he's a talker. Okay, he's not shy. I do also have a little 3-minute clip. Maybe I should start with that. Let's do that quickly. That Core TV shared of a Jailhouse interview. I'm going to show you this, which is 3.5 minutes or so, this clip, so that you can see him up close and just how arrogant he is. Okay, check this out. Where is it? Hello, clip, where are you? Where'd the clip go? Listen here. Why does it not want to play now? Okay, just wait 1 second. I'm just going to get it for you quickly. You prepare things and then, what's his name? Bill Gates. He's just like, you know what, lady? I'm just gonna mess with your stream a little bit. Just go here. Let's see if it's going to play now. Okay. Thank you all for being here. Please like and share.
First of all, that was a false confession I did there. That story was false. The police told me that they would not tolerate me giving the real story. And right at the beginning, the police also made it clear that they wanted to hear about sex. They asked me, what did I do with the woman that was my alibi?
That's what it was. The so-called short-haired woman.
Yeah.
She's never been identified or surfaced, right? I mean,
who said she wasn't identified?
Well, she's not in the record. Your defense attorney didn't produce her as a witness.
Yeah, no, we didn't bring her in. She got me confused with another man, somebody that had attempted to sexually assault her at one stage, and she got me confused with it.
Can you believe how full of excuses he is? He's just like, no, man, that was a false confession. They wanted me to talk about sex. Like, what? They're going to find the real killer. Yeah, Evie's like, why is he smiling? So you're getting a good close-up here, because obviously in the police interrogation we're going to watch, he's not this close, so now you're getting a good look of this guy.
Yeah. It sounds, Brian, like not much of an alibi.
Like he had lost control. That's what he sounded like.
Like he'd lost control. Interesting.
Yeah.
So that it was unplanned, maybe spontaneous?
No, from the wording the guy used, it sounds like he was documenting something, so it was planned. That's what it sounds like, because he was talking about having like 1 million viewers or something like that.
Making a movie. Right?
Yeah.
He talks about his fans and followers. What do you make of that?
Yeah. Well, that shows that there was something premeditated there. This guy obviously has some kind of place where he's selling these videos.
I mean, he's talking about it as if it's some other guy, but you can hear it's his voice on the freaking videos. He's just like, well, this guy, let me analyze him. Let's psychoanalyze this guy who isn't me. And they say Jailhouse interview. I don't know the exact date when this happened. But what? Yeah, no, it's just a false confession. Kay said, you're a great start to my morning before work, G. Oh, thank you. Good morning to you. It's so amazing how many different time zones we're all in. For me, it's 9:15 in the evening. For you, it's morning before work. That's amazing. Okay, let's continue.
Think so?
There must be. Like, why wouldn't he be? Why was he talking about that? And why was he documenting it?
Why was he documenting?
Yeah.
Why would somebody do that?
Well, they're obviously making money out of it, as far as
Money.
Yeah.
Well, could he have been doing that to watch it back and get thrills from it?
I don't know. He probably could have. If you find him, you can ask him that. My mind was buggered. My mind was buggered when that interrogation started. I knew I was weak. I knew I wouldn't.
They're offering you something to drink. They're offering you something to eat. You don't look like you're being tormented. You prolonged it. You asked them, you guys have to go home now? I got more to say.
That's because they asked me a question, I give them an answer, they're not happy with it. So I give it another answer. I try different ways of explaining it to them.
Then
So
I have 5 pages of quotes from your own lips, Brian, right? Full of admissions and confessions.
Yes.
And acknowledgments and appreciation for the police and self-awareness that you've gone too far and now you're in deep
Police said that they want to hear the sex side of things. So I gave them all the sex they wanted. That is non-confrontational de-escalation.
That sounds like a guilty man who's coming clean.
Well, then I did it well. Then I succeeded.
You did it too well?
I succeeded in de-escalating and acting non-confrontational.
Right.
I succeeded in that.
Why would you add details like defiling her corpse?
Once again, the police wanted that. It smelled.
Are you somebody who's incapable of telling the truth, Brian?
The problem is, when I speak the truth, people don't believe me.
Wow. Can you believe that guy? Oh man. Okay, another thing I want to do quickly is actually I want to fetch you the audio before we play the video and of where he says, so just hold on one second. Here. Okay, so at the moment it's just showing like this, right? It's just an audio file and I haven't put a picture over this one yet, but just listen to how it's a bathroom break. I think it was from the police interview day. And he's like, I'm going to make you guys famous. That's where that quote comes from, that he said, I'm going to make you famous, meaning just you wait. Kind of like, you've caught a serial killer here. That type of vibe. My goodness. So this happened in Anchorage, Alaska, okay? In 2019, October 2019 is when he was arrested. So have a listen here.
All right.
Let's wait for it.
I thought I didn't need to pee, but I see I do.
It's been a while.
Awkward bathroom time with him.
Okay.
You don't wash your hands.
Oh,
It's up to you.
I mean, we encourage it.
Yeah.
if you know what I've been up to, you would know. You don't even care about this now. All I can say is that you're famous.
What's that?
All I can say is that you're going to be famous.
Well,
That's where the quote comes from. All I can say is that you're gonna be famous. If you know what I've been up to, you know I don't care about this right now. What?
It's not a nice thing.
well, it is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
What's in the past it's happened, you know, so
Yeah, but you,
all we can do is get through it, you know?
yeah. But sometimes you shouldn't even have a bad past.
And that's that. So, okay, let me just bring up now the video. So, let me just wait. I've made one for you. Yes, this one. Okay. Now, of course, as you know, this has got to be a Walmart. There's actually a Walmart in this case. Oh my word, even in Anchorage, Alaska. I was like, what? Walmart video. Now, I don't know the context of this, of what he was buying, but I wanted to include it just to show you. As you can see, top right there, my source is Interrogation Files. Thank you again to him for sending all of this. All right, so this is a it's a quiet part here, but he's buying things in Walmart, and we can only imagine it's sinister things, right, for them to have the surveillance. Yeah, and in his videos that he made while tormenting the victims and murdering them, he said to them, in my movies, everybody dies. So scary. So if you go watch the deep dive and you do your homework, you will see all of that. You'll hear some of the clips as well. So trigger warning. Yeah, there he is in Walmart, everyone. Yes. Look at him walking around. Looks like he's buying drinks. I don't know what else is in his hand there. So not the most exciting video, but I needed to show you that. Okay. Here he comes. Let's go forward a little bit here. Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna wait. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there. We're almost done. He's paying. And then we're gonna see him go through a drive-through, which I think was at a McDonald's, and there's a woman in the car. And as far as we last checked, they don't know where she is or who she is. They don't know who she is or where she is. He used to pick up sex workers, so they don't. I'm not saying that she is one. They just don't know. So that's scary as well. Okay, we're almost there. He's made his Walmart purchases. So you can see the date on top there.
Thank you. Second window.
Effectively on record, case number is 19-35212.
Okay, so now we get to the police interrogation from the 8th of October of 2019, and he was arrested after this, okay? So let me just quickly recap. So Brian Smith, I think he would be 54 years old now. In 2013, he got engaged to a woman that he met online. She lived in Alaska, and he had aspirations of opening an inn in Alaska. They got married in 2014. And then he'd actually moved over there. So he emigrated, he went from South Africa to Alaska to stay there with his wife. He was then working at a tire company and then a maintenance worker at an Anchorage hotel. And these murders were committed at hotels, which is pretty scary as well, right? So in August of 2018, while his wife was out of town, Brian met Veronica Abouchak, 52, who was experiencing homelessness and struggled with addiction. And there's these horrific videos and photos on his phone of her murder. So that's when that happened, August 2018. So he hadn't been in Alaska for very long when he committed these murders, and he was arrested on this day, 8th of October 2019. And then Kathleen J. Henry is the other victim, and she was 30 years old when she was murdered in Anchorage, Alaska in September of 2019. Which is also why that McDonald's video is interesting, because it's while he was an active killer. He's an active alleged serial killer, because now there's a third victim that may be connected to this case. So, Barbara, I hope I answered your questions now. But yeah, in South Africa, he'd been there for over 40 years. So he had a lot of jobs there. We've gone over that deep dive, his background. There's multiple agencies working to try to figure out if he committed many murders in South Africa. Okay, so now we're going to watch this. I'm going to talk less, and we're going to watch this interrogation file now. Here we go.
On October 8th, 2019 at 3:08 p.m. at the Anchorage Airport. This will be the interview of Michael Stephen Smith, 323 of 71. And I'll be pausing tape until he walks in. I guess. Hey. So, Mr. Smith. Thank you, sir. Mr. Smith, I'm Detective Lee, the Anchorage Police Department. I just want to show you my badge, my ID, so you know who you're talking to. This is Detective Bell, my partner. We have some matters we wanted to clear up with you and talk to you today, so I appreciate you coming up here with these guys and talking to me. Obviously, we're here at the airport. They brought you up here to talk to me, so we have some kind of a formality to get by. I have to read you what's called a Miranda warning. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to read this to you, and if you have any questions at all while I'm reading it, just feel free to stop me and ask me, and I'll explain it the best I can, okay? So you have the right to remain silent. Do you understand that?
Yes.
I'm just going to pause. They're going to read him his Miranda rights now, as we see. So Brian Smith being interviewed, and he's, very chilled, very confident, and he'd actually just come back from a trip that he had with his wife. Got to jog my memory there of where he went, but they arrested him at the airport. They said on October 2nd, 2019, when Kathleen's skeletal remains were discovered by Alaska Railroad employee, he messaged a friend of his, Ian. There's a petition in the description box if you want to check that out, all about Ian Calhoun. He sent him a link to his friend sent him a link to a news article about the discovery of the remains, and Brian replied to his friend, "Oops," and that he was surprised it took so long. Oh, wow.
Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Do you understand that? If you just verbally say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present with you while you're being questioned. Do you understand that?
Yes.
If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one to be appointed to represent you before any questioning if you wish one. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements. Do you understand that right?
Yes.
And having these rights in mind, do you wish to talk to us now?
Yes.
Okay, and like I said, I'm gonna. Like I said, I have some stuff I want to talk to you, and I want to hear what you have to say, and I appreciate you being attentive to me. So I just want to start out and get a little bit of information. I know your name is Brian Smith. Is that who you are?
Yes.
Okay, and what's your middle name, Brian?
Stephen.
Stephen. Okay. What's your birthday, Mr. Smith?
23rd of March, 1971.
Okay, and a good address for you?
1353.
Just going to redact that. I just turned the sound off to not hear the full address.
And I have a good phone number for you?
And 907.
Okay, thank you. Are you married?
Yes.
Okay, how long have you been married?
5 years now.
Okay, 5 years now. All right, and who's your wife?
Her name's Stephanie Bisland.
Okay.
She does acting and she's got a music career, so she's kept her last name. That's
Okay, no worries. That's very common these days, actually. So, any children, kids? No kids? Okay. Where are you working at right now?
I work for Marriott, the Spring Hill Suite. I mean, sorry, not Spring Hill Suite. I've moved there with.
He apparently used his employee discounts to book these hotel rooms, allegedly, where he committed the murders. What? Catherine Joy, thank you so much. And Keith Peterson says he's toast. Just wanted to tell you guys, I put the chat comments that I'm putting on the screen up there so that if you activate your closed captioning, it won't interfere with it, okay? So you can just turn on CC and you should be able to see the closed captioning while we're live right now. All right.
The Midtown, sorry, you got to say it right. The residents in Midtown at Marriott. I think that's how you say it. The residents
So Marriott.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is it, the one by the IR?
It's just behind the BP building.
Okay.
Yeah. You got to say it right, otherwise it's the wrong place.
Sure. Yeah. Probably different ones with similar names in town.
Yeah.
Okay. How long have you worked at the Marriott?
I started at the University Lake a year ago, and then 2 weeks ago I was transferred to this one to Midtown. Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, you just got back from a trip. You mind if I ask you where you came from?
Oh yes, my wife and I went down to DC. She's got friends and family around the whole area.
Okay.
So, but I did come back early because I've just started this job and I couldn't take longer than a week.
Okay, understandable.
So, yeah.
Okay, all right. So, like I said, we have some matters we need to clear up with you, and I just wanted to ask you: do you have any idea, any thought in your head about what we might want to talk to you today about?
No, my truck was broken into a few months, well, about a month or two ago, and that's why I don't have a driver's license. My wallet was stolen.
Okay.
And I had some papers that were in the car with me.
Okay.
And some stuff. Is it about that?
Where was it at that your truck was broken into?
It was at
Do you have any idea why you're here? Well, my truck was broken into. Is it that? All right? It's about my truck being broken into and people stealing some stuff. Actually, no. Actually, spoiler, it's because you killed 2 people and we've got the evidence from your phone. How about that? Anyway, they're going to get to it. They do so well. Just like, no, just tell us more about that. Okay.
University Lake.
University Lake at and that's the one over there by UAA, kind of off Elmore Road. Is that the University Lake?
Yes, it's right there between the Native Hospital and Providence. Yeah.
Okay. What day was it that it was broken into?
Oh, I can't remember.
Did you report it to the police?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And they used my credit card to go buy a whole lot of stuff, so that's what I was worried about.
Okay.
And one of my bags had a whole lot of confidential papers in it.
Okay.
Things that I used with my immigration.
Okay.
And so I was worried about those things getting in the wrong hands, identity fraud and all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you don't recall when that was that it got broken into?
Oh man, it was
What is today's like? It's October 8th, and that water's for you. We just pour that water if you want it.
It was like 2 months ago or something like that.
2 months ago.
If
okay.
Oh man. Oh, you know what? My Cabela's credit card might shed light because this says expires 1/24. Okay, it's not. I thought this will be exactly 4 years after it was.
Where'd they use your cards at?
Oh, at Lowe's and the Tudor Lowe's and Office Depot right next door.
Okay.
It is. I don't know when exactly they broke the window, but they. I got a phone call from one of the guys at work that said my window's broken. So
Okay.
as I'm down there looking at this, what the heck, the messages start coming through on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your transaction at Lowe's for $500 and something dollars has been accepted, and I'm like, what the heck?
Now it's fraud. People broke into my truck. They took my cards. Yeah, they're just like spending my money. Yeah, that's not why you're here. Michael Schmidt, thank you so much. I hope you guys can hear me properly. You guys are saying I must turn my mic up. It's up. I've just boosted this a lot, okay? Also, you guys are saying, but your accent doesn't sound like his. People in South Africa also said that because there's many accents in South Africa, I guess like America too, you know? Depending on where you stay, there's many different accents. So yeah, mine doesn't sound quite like his, right? Okay, so here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I wanted to still tell you, on the left-hand side is I put the pictures of the victims up for you. On the left-hand side is Veronica Abouchak. She died from a gunshot wound to the head. And on the right-hand side is Kathleen Henry, and she died from asphyxiation. But just remember, the torture, the taunting, the filming, everything that this guy did it's so horrendous. I feel really sorry for the jury for everything that they must have heard and saw. We've just only heard a little clip, okay, of some of the audio. When he's like, in my movie, everybody dies and all of that, right? Scary.
Yeah.
And then I jumped in and I saw everything gone, and as I'm trying to cancel, it said Office Max or whatever, 300 and something's been approved there.
Okay.
And I'm trying to get through to the police to do the online statement, to open the thing, because I thought I need a police number to be able to cancel things.
Sure.
But apparently I didn't need to. So
Okay.
But that was the only damage that they did to the credit cards.
Okay. And what kind of vehicle do you own that was broken into?
Oh, this is a little Ford Ranger.
Okay.
I've got, yeah.
Okay. And is that your vehicle or somebody else's vehicle?
That's mine, yeah.
Yours. Okay. All right. What did you say? They broke the window? How did they get into it?
Well, through the passenger side.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a two-door. It's got the little flap doors on the back.
Okay.
And they broke that window.
Okay.
And, the truck's a bit of a mess. I don't know what all they took, but every day I'm finding new things. Like my winter jacket I saw now the other day, that's gone from there. You know.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And since you said this was about 2 months ago, have you gotten any of your property back or?
No.
Nothing.
The Cabela's who go through Capital One, they finally now a few days ago accepted that it was a fraud thing. It wasn't me buying the stuff.
Okay.
And they released the money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So I've got my money back from them.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What kind of items?
They're doing a good job of building rapport. Just like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, tell us more about that. Right? And as I say, this interrogation is 5.5 hours long. So we're probably going to split it over 2 parts, right? This is part 1 today. And then we'll be back for part 2 soon. Ashley, thank you so much. You guys are saying audio is perfect. That's great. Please like and share. And also, remember, this case, it takes place in Anchorage, Alaska. This guy is from South Africa originally. He lived there for about 40 years. And then he had moved to Alaska because he got married to a woman who lived there. Okay? And so, just in case anyone's confused. So that's that. Now let's keep listening to what they say.
You said your credit cards obviously were taken. What else was taken out of the truck?
Well, that's the thing I don't remember. I had a spare phone that was gone, but I hardly used that. Papers were gone. There was a briefcase. It was like a double laptop briefcase, and that's where I kept all my papers and stuff.
Okay.
And that wouldn't have been in the truck if my wife and I didn't have a fight that night. So
okay.
She was complaining about all my stuff in the house, so I loaded stuff in the truck.
Okay.
And like I said, the jacket I saw now the other day, the jacket was gone. I think one of my old GoPros was inside there.
Oh, okay.
I think that's gone.
Okay, you think it's gone?
I can't find it at home. So
okay.
Yeah.
Did you report when you made the report? Was that listed on the items taken? Do you think, or?
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned it on the police one, but when the insurance, because I did the police first and then the insurance basically phoned me afterwards, like what was going on.
Okay.
So I did mention to them, but I didn't want to push it. Just now it's fraud. You know?
Yeah.
And you get in trouble. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'm 99% sure one of my little toolboxes is gone. I know I moved things between, two toolboxes put into one.
Okay.
So it might have been the one I threw away.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The little GoPro you said that was taken. What stands out about how does it? Because I'm not familiar with GoPros. How do they record memory into the camera, or do they record on something else, or how does that work?
Oh no, yeah, it's got a little SD card on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it records on an SD card. Yeah.
Okay.
And real quick, what kind of phone? Do you know what brand of phone it was?
Oh no, I actually buy and sell.
Interesting that he brings that up, hey, the phone and an SD card, because that's essentially what busted him. That SD card, whew, my goodness. Well, what was on the phone, which was then transferred onto an SD card and given to the police.
Things on eBay and stuff like that. I'm trying to make a quick buck on stuff. So.
Like iPhone or Android?
Oh yeah, a little Android thing.
Android, yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
I try to stay away from iPhones. It's too much of a mission. I have already on a few occasions bought an iPhone, and then I'm trying to sell it, and just after you sell it, the person phones back and says, "Why did you lock the phone?" And like, I didn't lock it, and you find out the guy you bought it from, and basically, people, I think that's what people do. Yeah, they buy a phone on contract, they sell it, and then they. You're nodding like you know it.
Don't make the payment.
And then they claim insurance that it's stolen, and then the phone gets blocked. Yeah.
Sure. We see that type of thing all the time.
Yeah.
Doing what we do. So, okay. All right. Anything else you think that we're here to talk about that you can take? Any off the top of your head? Anything we might be here to talk about?
No, honestly, I can't think of anything.
Okay.
It's my truck's got lots of loose little things in it all over the place. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Is your truck here? Did you drive to the airport or did you park it here?
No, it's at home. Yeah.
It's at home.
Yeah.
Okay.
I took a cab. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll explain. Like I said, we have some matters we need to clear up, and the thing we need to talk about is recently some property was brought to APD, and I was given that property. It's a little SD card, and I watched that SD card and I looked at it, and that's what I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
So what can you tell me? Because you mentioned the SD card and the GoPro camera. So what can you tell me about that?
Well, usually everything I record is stuff from my trips when I go out camping. So if you see me making fires and cooking meat and walking in the forest, and if it's on a GoPro, there's a good chance it's me trying to take shots or a video of me shooting through things. That's why I got a GoPro. It's got a very high frame rate. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to capture. If you ever look on YouTube, you'll see the guy shooting through like latex or through bottles or something, and you can see the bullet going through.
Shooting a bullet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Doesn't it remind you a little bit, because it's a recent case we've covered, which is, of course, Madeleine Soto's case of when they asked Stefan Stones, so tell us what's on your phone. And he's like, text messages, and they're like, what about pictures? Yeah, pictures, selfies, lightsabers, Disney. No, we're talking about the other pictures. Here again. So remember, the graphic content was on his phone. His phone was stolen by a sex worker. She then went through the phone and was horrified at what she was seeing. Like, what the hell is this? And realized this guy's a killer, because it was his voice and you could see his feet and sometimes his face in some of the video taunting those victims. Horrifying, So she then stole an SD card and made a copy of what was on the phone and she put it in an envelope. Murder at Midtown Marriott is what it was labeled, and she sent that to the police, right? And that's really where this investigation started, and they're talking about that. Like, what was on your phone? Tell us about that, right?
We've got property out in Talkeetna, so it's out there, so okay. It's not like in town shooting kind of stuff.
Okay, where out in Talkeetna do you have property? Is it like a cabin or?
It is on the end of Montana Creek Road. Okay. The road, Montana Creek Road goes east-west, and where it turns north, there's like a section over there that's like still very wild and stuff. So okay. we're out there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So like I said, it's about that SD card. I wanted to kind of just see if this will refresh a memory here for you. That there, and that's it right there on top of that.
Look at his face now. He's like, what? So they're showing him photos I've, of course, blurred it out. So in case you're wondering what's behind there, graphic photos of the victims, right? So they're showing him some stills of what they've got from his phone, because there were 12 graphic videos and 39 photos on that phone. I'm also putting some information up on the screen here for you so that you can check that out.
I've seen those. I've got one or two of those. You get those at Wal-Mart.
Okay. And now is that one like the one you're missing? Because you said you're missing one out of the GoPro.
No, well, the whole GoPro's gone.
Oh, the whole GoPro's gone. Yeah. But was that the type of card that might have been in that GoPro when it was gone?
No.
Okay.
I've got one of these that I've been using for my 3D printer.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why I've got these green ones. The other one's all black.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and so like I said, this was brought to APD and given to me, and like I said, I viewed the images and the videos on that.
So they're first showing him, of course, the SD card, right? Thank you, Pixie Dust. Cutie Pie said, I remember it being an SD card she stole. That's what was originally reported in the media, but then the trial happened and they clarified that, which really helped because they had Valeria Casler on the stand and she explained what happened. So if you check out the deep dive that we did, which is just less than 2 hours, I know it sounds like a lot of time, but you can watch it 1.25 speed. We really covered all of that from beginning to end. Like, what is this case about? Who are the victims? How was he caught? what was on the phone, all the things, right? We've covered that. You learned lots about the victims and their families and saw pictures and all of that, okay? So, I mean, nice pictures of them, not graphic ones at all. I would never show that. So, yeah, Stefan's like, not the pictures of him walking in the woods. No, not making fire or walking in the woods. Not that. Yeah, they're referring to something else here. Okay.
SD card.
Yeah.
And that's obviously that's how I got to you. That's how I figured out who you are.
Okay.
And that's what we need to clear up that matter of what's on that SD card.
Okay, what's on the card?
Okay. You mentioned a black Ford Ranger truck you have.
Yeah.
I observed that black Ford Ranger that you have. What's the plate on your Ford Ranger?
Oh, I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's the Ford Ranger that's registered to you and to Stephanie.
Yeah.
And it's FSL
Yes,
878. Does that
yeah.
sound right? So like I said, that's how I got to you. There's pictures of that truck on that SD card.
Okay.
Also, if you guys did do the homework before, if you didn't, don't worry, you can catch up anytime. It's on the playlist. But one of his ex-girlfriends had actually been trying to tell police about him, that he's, clearly a red flag, that she knew something. I don't know exactly what she knew, but she was trying to reach out to police and report him and say things. Eventually she took her own life. Now, we don't know the circumstances of why she did that, what led to, her making that decision, which is so sad. But who knows if it would be from trauma that she may have endured with this guy, with knowing what he did and just getting no help, at the time. So when the police saw what was on this SD card and they heard the voice, they recognized his voice, because there's not that many South Africans living in Alaska, right? And so they recognized the voice as someone that they were already looking into. So that became extremely interesting then, right? Thank you. CA girl. Is that like California girl? Thank you so much. Okay.
Well, it could be, I could have used it for something if it's got my truck on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to talk to you about.
Okay.
So, let's talk about over the last month, time span of a month or so. You work at the Marriott.
Mm-hmm.
How often, you live at Starbucks, so you live here in Anchorage. How often would you say you stay at a Marriott? Would you spend the night there at a Marriott or rent a room there?
Well, when we go away, like now we stayed at Marriott, yeah.
Okay.
In DC.
Yeah.
But let's say here in Anchorage.
A few weeks ago, probably a month or two, I had a fight with my wife and I went and stayed at a Marriott.
Okay.
It's the one that's behind Moose's Tooth.
Okay,
Yeah.
behind the Moose's Tooth.
Yeah.
Okay, and what, you said about 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
you and your wife stayed there?
No, I stayed there. Yeah.
You stayed there?
Yeah.
What did you say about your wife, though?
Oh, we had a fight. So
Oh, you had a fight? Okay.
Yeah.
So about what date do you think that was?
I can't remember.
Okay.
I can look on my phone,
Okay.
or it'll say like, how was your stay or whatever,
Okay. And how many nights did you rent it? Do you have to, as an employee, do you have to rent the room, or how does that work?
Oh yeah, I just rent the room, yeah.
Okay. And how many nights did you rent the room for?
Probably about 2 nights.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And when you went to the hotel, what did you do? What was your evening like?
Well, after a fight with your wife, you usually drink a hell of a lot, so it did involve quite a bit of alcohol. So.
Interesting. He's just like, well, after a fight with your wife, what, you check into a hotel and drink a lot? Okay, but then also just a bit of violence and murder. Isn't that so scary? Because they have it on video. This guy filmed things and took photos of the entire ordeal.
Okay. What'd you drink?
Would probably have been Jack Daniels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you go anywhere?
I probably would have driven around a bit, got some food and stuff.
Okay. Did you meet up with anybody, talk to anybody?
I can't remember. I probably would have. between us, I have been known to sometimes go out and find a companion, you know.
Okay. Did you do that, you think, that particular night?
I probably did, yeah.
You probably did.
Yeah.
Okay. So can you tell me about how that evening went down?
Well, if this is the same evening, I met a lady down at the homeless shelter. She actually works there, and she stayed the night. And I still got to work late the next morning because I went and dropped her off back at work again. So I can't remember her name. I can't remember.
See, now they're like, yeah, we know. Because suddenly like, oh yeah, I did pick up a lady. And she was experiencing homelessness and struggled with addiction. Like this guy picked on really vulnerable people. A complete coward, of course. But he's like, oh yeah. So I had a fight with my wife, checked into this hotel, obviously got his employee discount as well. And then, oh yeah, I did meet up with someone. And then just dropped off at work again. Yeah, right.
I remember what she looks like, yeah.
Okay. What time was it that you picked her up at the homeless shelter?
Well, I probably would, I don't know. I can't tell you. I really can't tell you, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it would have been late, like 10, 11.
Okay. And from there, once you picked her up, where did you guys go?
We would have... She said that she knows where we can get some booze, and she arranged some vodka, which she actually kept. I didn't have to drink, I'm sure of that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's very fuzzy. I remember her shouting out the window with vodka or something like that.
Okay.
And then we would have gone back to the hotel room.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you describe her the best you can, what she looked like, what she was wearing?
Short hair, very short hair. Immediately I thought she was lesbian, and later on she told me, that she doesn't usually go with guys.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's girls, so it made sense, yeah. And the thick makeup.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you got back to the hotel room, what did you guys do?
Oh, we had to watch a bit of TV, drank a bit more. And then through the night maybe done something, yeah.
Okay. And can you just give a little more detail what you guys did?
Well, obviously gotten a little bit physical, you know.
Okay.
A little bit of an understatement, hey. Obviously got a little bit physical. Yeah, but not in the context that an ordinary person would mean that. Okay.
Sexually, if you want that word.
Okay, so you guys had sex?
Probably, yeah, there's a good chance. After a few drinks, I don't usually work, you know, so...
Okay. Okay, so after that, what happened next?
Well, woke up in the morning. This I remember. I woke up and she was in the bathroom putting her makeup on, and she spent like an hour or so. And I was in a rush to get back to work, so that was the big thing there, you know.
Okay.
And I got to work about an hour late because I still went and dropped her off.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And you, like we told you, today's the 8th. You said this is about 2 weeks ago?
No. It was longer than 2 weeks ago. It's more like a month ago.
A month ago. Okay. Okay. And since that time, since about a month ago, have you rented a room in Anchorage at all and spent the night there?
No.
That's the last time you did? Okay. And you said she was putting her, last thing you said, she was putting on her makeup, and then did you take her somewhere, or what happened?
Yeah, I went to drop her off again because she works at the homeless shelter.
Okay.
The one that they want to close down.
Okay.
Yeah.
After that night, after you came back to the room, did you and her go anywhere else around Anchorage or anywhere else outside of Anchorage or anywhere for that matter?
No. I never saw her again. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you speaking about Brother Francis Shelter or something different?
The one that goes down, that's just across from the prison.
Okay.
That one,
yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, no, if you give people your number or something like that, they'll phone you and weird things. You know?
Yeah.
And since that night, have you picked up? Because you said you've picked up, and I'm not here investigating, prostitution and something like that. So you can be honest with me. Have you picked up any other girls that are companions, as you put it, since then?
No. That's the last time my wife and I had a fight that I had a chance.
Okay.
If she's there, you can't take anybody home. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then after that, did you stay at the address over on Starbuck ever since then? Until you went out of town?
Yeah.
Okay. When did you go out of town?
We left on the 1st or the 2nd last week, Monday night, yeah.
Okay.
We left.
All right. Okay. And like I told you, I viewed everything on the SD card, and I did see your truck on there. Is there anything else on that SD card that we need to talk about?
No. You could show me the card and see. You can show me what's on there if you want to.
Okay. That night.
This other detective's getting ready. He's like, well, you could show me what's on there if you want to. He's like, okay. Yeah, they've got what's on there. They've got pictures to show him. Okay. He's sounding quite... I see some people noticing, that Brian Smith's starting to look a little nervous here, but he's still quite cocky. Hey, he's very chatty. Just like, what? You want to show me what's on the card? Yeah, we do. Welcome, Shireen. Welcome, everyone. If you know nothing about this case, check out the description box. There's a link to the playlist. We've done a deep dive. You're going to watch one video and be all caught up, okay? It is just less than 2 hours, so it's a little bit long, but you'll know everything after that about what we need to know about this case. And then we're going to watch this in multiple parts, so I'll give you some time to catch up on the homework as well, right? At least 2 parts, because it's a 5.5 hour police interrogation. And don't you think they're doing such a good job? Just building that rapport, being so friendly, talking about, so like your car got broken into. Okay. But now things are escalating. I'm putting some facts from the presentation that we've already covered before in the chat for you, just in case you want some extra information. Thank you, Terry. Here we go.
How much alcohol did you say you had to have to drink?
Oh, goodness. Well, let's put it this way. For me to actually go out and need someone to talk to, it's usually a lot. I know you probably don't believe this from what I've just said, but I love my wife and whatever. I don't want to jeopardize anything.
Of course not.
So I've got to really be drunk to go and do something stupid,
Okay.
So I'll probably finish like a bottle of Jack or something. Well, not finish, but like quite a bit, yeah.
Okay. And you said a minute ago, and just so you know, I used to work in the sexual assault unit, so you don't have to be embarrassed or shy to talk about these things. But I am going to ask you to get pretty specific about what you and her did in the room together. If you could just kind of describe how it started and what you guys did throughout the night.
Well, I don't remember, but if you really want graphic, we probably played with each other, and she'd probably have sucked me a little bit, and then there's a good chance we probably tried screwing, if you can put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, knowing myself, I would probably have tried and nothing happened, and then in the morning tried again.
Okay.
When I was a little bit more sober.
Okay.
But that's generally, there's one of those, that's generally what would have happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then you said you didn't go anywhere. What time did you think it was you got back to the room?
Well, what makes me think most places stop selling alcohol at like 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So this would have been past 10 o'clock. So that's why I'm thinking 10 to 11 o'clock.
Okay. And after 10 to 11 o'clock, did you go anywhere else after that on that particular night?
No. The whole thing is the rush is to get the girl to the room. You don't want to still go driving around with her.
Mm-hmm.
Before she changes her mind, you want to get to the room.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many nights did you say you rented that room for?
For 2 nights. Yeah.
2 nights. Was this on the first night that you had the room, or was this on the second?
This was the second night.
Second night.
Yeah.
Okay.
because I knew I was checking out, and I didn't want her to stay there.
Okay.
You know, because then they'll find her there. Then, because I booked the room through my Marriott number, they would have said, "Hey, what's this person doing in your room?" You know, and then work would have found out. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Just wanted to put my notes here real quick. Do you have anything you wanted to ask?
You said you stayed there 2 nights, right?
Yeah.
And this was the second night that you're telling us
This
about
would
right
have
now?
been the second night. Yeah.
What did you do the first night? The first night you stayed there. Tell us about that night.
That night, I would have probably just fallen dead asleep. If I can put it that way.
Okay, so that you didn't have somebody else. You didn't meet another companion and have somebody else there the first night.
No, I would have been like just tired from the fight. You know, you're mentally tired. You just want to go home and just. There's a good chance I would have gotten myself some chicken and.
Tired from the fight. He's saying like tired from the fight with his wife, but that's what he's implying. But yeah, no, probably tired from all that, graphic stuff he was doing. Horrible.
A whole lot of beers and, the only time I'm allowed to actually have KFCs when I'm not with a wife. Mm-hmm. She doesn't like it, so I spoil myself to KFC whenever I'm alone. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Well, I just wanted to show you some pictures, see if they would help you kind of refresh the girl from that night.
Mm-hmm. No, that's not her.
Not her?
Just short hair.
Short hair, okay.
Short hair, no.
Okay, all right.
She looks like a drug addict.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen this woman before?
No.
Have you ever had any contact with her at all?
No. I have. Look, in the last 5 years that I've been here, probably starting about 2 years ago, I've probably gone out and picked up a girl or two. So I might have seen her before, but not fresh in my mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. And then you said her here.
No.
Doesn't ring a bell, doesn't look familiar. You've never seen her?
No.
Okay. All right.
In those couple years, how many would you guess? Is there a lot, or can you just sound out?
Oh, no, like
a couple on each hand, or how many?
Once or twice a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 4 to 6 times in the last couple of years?
Probably like 3 times.
Okay.
Altogether.
And then I told you on there that how I found you.
Probably like 3 times altogether, he says, since he moved to Alaska. 2 murders he's been convicted of. A 3rd he's suspected of. Interesting how he says that, isn't it? In hindsight now. Probably like 3 times. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It could be more, but yes. By the way, I have not watched this full video myself. I've just been able to receive it and edit it and its big files and all that. So I'm kind of live reacting with you as well, with, of course, the background homework that we've done. So if there's anything that I need to redact that we hear, I will do that, okay?
We saw your truck. Is that?
That's my truck.
That's your truck?
Yeah.
Okay.
I recognize the rims and my grey canopy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then this is kind of a close-up of the license plate. Does that look about right to be your plate?
I don't remember the plate properly, but if that's from here, yeah, this is my truck. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the only person I know that's got that silver.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you recall this picture of your truck? Seeing this before?
No. That's at night. Usually at night I'm home.
Okay. You said usually at night you're at home?
Yeah.
What hours do you work at when you go to work? What's the hours that you work?
Recently, the last 3-4 months, it's been 8 to 4:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
8 a.m.?
Yeah, 8 a.m. to 4:30.
What do you do for them?
Maintenance.
Maintenance, okay.
And you just work at that one specific hotel, or do you at multiple of the hotels?
No, just at, up until, for the last year, I've been at University Lake, and now it's at Residency.
Okay. And just to help me sure up the dates of when you were there, does this look about right is this you here, and then the date? Would that ring a bell about when that was? Would that be the particular evening you're talking about?
What's that, 4th of September, 2nd? Yeah.
So yeah, that's arrived. Would that be about right?
So what's now?
It's the 8th of October now.
8th of October, yeah.
September. October, yeah. So yeah, a month ago, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that's right. Okay. Is there anything else, and I'm going to step out here a minute and let you take a break, drink some water. Is there anything else about that evening that we haven't talked about that you want me to know about or you think we should talk about?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have some water there for you. Did you want a cup of coffee or anything? Or?
No.
Okay.
Fine, yeah.
We're going to step out for a minute. We'll be right back, okay?
Yeah.
All right. A couple questions. When we first started talking, you started talking about having YouTube stuff, and I'm not.
Oh no, what I'm saying is if you look on YouTube, you'll see that there's always guys like testing guns and whatever, and people shoot through bottles.
Oh.
But he did have a YouTube channel for a bit there. He used to love flying drones and getting footage of nature and when he went camping. I really suspect that he is a serial killer. I think that's highly likely, and I cannot imagine how many murders he may have gotten away with in South Africa. So that's a scary thought, and there's multiple agencies working on the case, trying to see if they can find if he committed any murders in South Africa, but they haven't found anything yet. But it's also difficult, to look for that in South Africa. So here he is in Anchorage, Alaska. He'd lived there for 5 years and committed 2 murders that they know of. A third is now potentially suspected of a third. Can you imagine? Oh my goodness. Okay.
Okay. I actually have quite a bit of YouTube. If you can actually search me up, Brian Smith, Alaska.
Mm-hmm. What kind of stuff do you put on your YouTube?
Well, my travels around. I was very lucky. The second job I ever got was at Dow Engineering, and I got in there as a tester inspector. So they sent me out a lot of villages and stuff. I've seen parts of Alaska that tourists would pay a lot of money to see.
Yeah.
Bad. So I've videoed those things so my family and everybody overseas or back in South Africa can see the stuff.
Okay.
And then actually there you'll see my property our property in Talkeetna. You'll actually see. I think I've got a few up where I'm shooting through bottles and stuff, trying to catch the bullet.
Sure.
In midair.
Okay. You said you're from South Africa?
Yeah, originally.
Okay. How long have you been in Anchorage or in Alaska?
5 years now.
5 years. Did you live anywhere in the United States prior to Alaska?
No, I came directly, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Can I ask what brought you to?
Well, I got my wife.
Oh, you got married too?
Yeah, she's been up here for a long time.
Yeah.
Her father was in the Coast Guard, so they started off Boston, they went down to DC. She was at school there for most of school. So that's where all of her friends and family are still down there.
Yeah.
And then they went Juneau. She finished school there and then came up here.
Okay.
And then her dad.
Now, if you watch the previous episodes on the playlist, there are clips of his wife as well. She was interviewed and she was like, how could I have missed this? So there were some very interesting clips there that we looked at. And yet, apparently, she's still married to him and she's still sticking by his side. That's what I've heard from family members that have emailed, and they're actually quite disappointed, right? There's like, you're gonna stay with this guy? Like, what? So if you want to see clips of her and him and things like that, you can see that on the playlist as well.
Retired up here. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then, do you actively still put stuff on YouTube or for or on the internet, I should say?
When Stephanie plays music, I'll go out and record sometimes. But I don't think I've posted anything in a long time.
Okay. Yeah. And then the GoPro that you lost, did you use that for recording, or did you do those recordings, or did you use something else?
Some of it. A GoPro, basically, it records a very wide. So if I'm holding the GoPro here, it'll get both of you, and you'll actually look like you're quite far away. So if if someone's on a stage, like 30 yards away, they'll be this big on the GoPro picture, you know.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, yeah.
The GoPro that you lost, did anybody else ever use that other than you, or?
No. Well, no. I doubt it. Yeah.
You doubt it. How long did you have that GoPro?
Oh, that thing I would have bought about 4 years ago. That's when I started my whole little eBay thing, buying broken things, fixing things. Mm-hmm. And I bought 3 GoPro 4s. And I fixed 2 of them, the other one was just useless. And I kept the one, and the other one I sold, and he covered the cost of all of them and the repairs. So I broke even.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you seemed curious about what was on you were asking me to show you what's on the SD card, and I don't have it here to show you exactly what's on there, but I wanted to talk about it. And like I said to you a minute ago, the images led me to you. There was images on there that led me to you, and for multiple reasons. The truck, like I said, I knew that was your truck. You're saying that's your truck in the photographs. Mm-hmm. There's pictures of the Marriott. There's pictures of the Marriott, the hotel room on the GoPro, or excuse me, on that SD card. And that's how I knew it was that Marriott. It was the Midtown Marriott.
Okay.
And the pictures, I don't know. You probably know about this. I think you're into technology and stuff. Yeah. Photographs, they have a time and date stamp. So the photographs are time and date stamped. So they basically, the photographs time and date stamp matched at the time that you were at that hotel room.
Okay.
So that's how this SD card has led me to you.
Okay.
And like I said, there's a number of images on there, and there's a number of videos on there, and I brought some of the pictures to kind of go over with you about that. So this is one of the images on there. Part of it is kind of cut down a little bit, but can you tell me?
Oh, now we're going to see his reaction to it. Stefan said, I think he filmed the disturbing things with his GoPro, not his phone. That's why the detectives mention the GoPro all the time. It could be very possible because he had actually downloaded the footage and put it on a flash drive that they found at his home. And they also found the footage on his phone. So he may have wanted to keep it on his phone, like a trophy as well, and on the flash drive, you know? Wow, like a backup. Oh my goodness. Let me just quickly tell you that in August of 2018, the lady you see on the left up there was his first known victim, okay, in Alaska. Don't worry about the ones in South Africa. We don't know. Okay, but in August of 2018, while his wife was out of town, Brian met Veronica Abouchak. She was 52 years old and experiencing homelessness, and she struggled with addiction. Now, she was from Stebbins, a small western Alaska village, and graduated high school in 1985. If you're wondering where I'm looking at my own presentation that I've got on the side there, okay? So her family said that Veronica was very sweet, and she was known for her beautiful grass baskets and dolls. She had 2 sisters, all right? And then her favorite snack was rice and melted cheese. She had 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls, but her daughter said that due to her struggles with addiction, she was not able to raise them. He offered her a warm meal and a place to rest her head. When they got to his house, he asked her to take a shower, which she refused. He then grabbed a green .22 caliber pistol from his garage and shot her in the head. On April 10th of 2019, a pair of mushroom hunters discovered her decomposed skull near the Old Glen Highway. Veronica's youngest sister, Martha Tom, was found under a picnic table in Anchorage in 2005, badly beaten, and she was taken to a hospital where she later died from her injuries. So she was only 35 years old, and her case remains unsolved. That's interesting. So Veronica's murder was one that Brian Smith confessed to after he was arrested for Kathleen Henry's murder. Deleted video evidence was found in his home of Veronica Abouchak's murder. Then it was actually it was Kathleen J. Henry, which she met him in September of 2019. Okay, so just wanted to give you a little bit of a timeline recap there, just so that you know about a little bit more about the 2 victims and what they're referring to. The horrific graphic photos and videos, I believe, were of Kathleen J. Henry. And I mean, that was as recent as September of 2019, and here they are in October. That's scary. Wow.
What's in that photo?
There's somebody's feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whose feet are those?
I don't know.
Okay. I'm looking at your shoes. I mean, it looks like the shoes you're wearing right now.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Okay. Is it safe to say those are your feet in that picture?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not the only person that's got shoes like this.
Okay.
I did recently buy these. I can't tell you when.
Okay, you can't tell me when. How long have you had them?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Where'd you buy them from?
These I would have got at Fred Meyer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I just want to show you some other images here that, and like I said, I've watched the videos and the images on there, and I've watched them multiple times, and that's why we're here. That's how I knew to talk to you. So these are just some of the other images on there.
Okay.
These are on the SD card.
He's like, okay.
Okay.
So what can you tell me about these photos?
This looks like someone that's really been beaten up a bit.
Okay. And these are images. These are images, but there's also videos of this person.
Yeah.
And another person in the room as well. And that's why we're here to talk to you about.
How many people in the room?
At least 2.
This guy acting like it's somebody else. You know what? I just remember. I see it from my presentation. It was on September 4th. Remember the Wal-Mart video we saw in the beginning? On September 4th of 2019, Brian Smith is seen on surveillance buying a beer and a phone from Wal-Mart in the hours before he murdered Kathleen Henry. Yes. That's what we saw him buying. We saw the beers. I was wondering, what's the other thing? Oh, a beer and a phone.
Oh. Yeah.
So we need to address this. We need to clear this up.
Okay.
Mr. Smith.
You think I hit this girl?
Well, like I said, there's videos of it. There's video of it, there's audio of it, there's a voice I've been talking to you now for almost 30, 40 minutes. And I know it was your voice I could hear in the video.
Okay.
And if you'd like to hear some of that, I can refresh your memory with it.
The same pictures are on the SD card with your truck that you said was your truck.
Yeah, these are all on the same as your truck here. So.
Okay, big time trigger warning. I might have to mute it. I'm just going to let it play a little bit and see. We've already listened to some from the trial and it was horrendous. So, yeah, he had filmed the murder of Miss Henry, which jurors had to watch and listen to at his trial. The trial started in February of 2024 and he's been sentenced to 226 years in prison. Okay, let's just see.
That sounds like me. What's happening when that's...
What's happening is on this video, on these images, the person that's recording it is holding the recorder and is standing basically above this girl and strangling her.
Okay.
And so we need to talk about this. We need to get ahead of this, Mr. Smith.
I don't want to act stupid, but I don't remember anything.
Okay. But this occurred, and like I said, the photos are timestamped. This occurred in that room 323, 323, on September 4th, early mornings.
Yeah.
At the time that you were at the hotel.
The 4th. I'm not denying. I'm not saying you're lying, but I don't remember anything like this.
Has anything like that ever happened to you in the past then? Have you ever, when you drank or anything like that, has anything ever happened in the past where you drank and you forgot what you did?
Long time ago, I was told it was sugar blackouts.
So it wasn't alcohol?
No, well, both times, this is a long time ago, had a long stressful day at work, so apparently your sugar goes low, then you have a few drinks, like a beer or two, and then that artificially brings it up, and then you have a stressful situation, and that burns up the adrenaline or whatever, and then that knocks you down, and then that's when you go into a blank. Once back in South Africa, I remember after work I'd had a little fire, made some meat, had some beers. I remember driving home, the sun was going down, and the next thing I woke up and I was about 30 miles other side of town facing this way, and the bottom of my car was all wrecked, and I didn't remember anything about what the heck. And that happened like twice within a month, and when I spoke to friends, I spoke to people about that, one guy said that had happened to somebody he knows. You got this like sugar.
Sure. It's the drink's fault. It's the sugar, okay? That sugar rush. Sure. But also, isn't he deflecting now? And listen how quickly he's speaking. Whoa, he's really speaking a lot faster now than he was just a little while ago before they showed him these pictures that they have as evidence. Okay?
Like almost like a sugar coma or something stupid. Like I don't know the technical deals. But yeah, it's usually when your insulin's low or your sugar's low.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that definitely you talking on the recording, on the audio there, that you don't recall that?
That sounds like my voice. I've got a unique voice.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
It's English mixed with the Dutch.
Mm-hmm. And you talking and like I said, there's about 12 of these videos, and I've watched every single one of them multiple times, unfortunately. And you talking, you know what you're doing in those videos. I mean, you're describing what's going on in those videos. And so, Mr. Smith, I don't believe that you don't remember this happening. And like I said, we need to talk. We need to get ahead of this because this is pretty big here.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah. I don't remember this. Is this the same girl? Yeah.
That is.
I do not remember anything like this. I would remember something like this. I don't.
Classic, isn't it? Without don't recall. No idea. Just like, they'll do it. Don't know what you're talking about. Never seen that in my life. Sure.
Okay. So then I just have more photos, and then this is more of the images that were on the phone. And this one's out in the parking lot, your truck again. Do you recall that?
Who would record stuff like this?
You.
That looks like a Marriott card. That looks like my truck parked over there.
It is.
I do not remember anything like this. Honestly.
Where is this girl now?
I don't know. She's not the girl I picked up. I can tell you now, she's not the one I picked up. The one I picked up was short hair. And I dropped... when I dropped her off, several people waved at her and greeted her. So she's known down there. You know, if we can go down there and I can see the people working there, I can tell you, I can point her probably out to you. You know.
Okay.
So it's like, I don't know who would film this. Why would anyone do that? Yeah, no, that's not the one I recognize. No, I dropped that one off. Wow. Thank you, Keith, for your $20 sticker. Yeah, you guys are all like, you sicko. You monster, says Kathleen. Exactly. Like, who would film this? You. Now, let me just quickly give you some details again. So, September 4th of 2019. On the pictures of the victims up there, right? The one on the right-hand side was the one that was murdered on September 4th of 2019, Kathleen J. Henry. All right. So, let me just tell you a little bit about her quickly. She was an Alaska native born in Bethel, Alaska. She grew up in Eek, a tiny community of 474 people who got running water for the first time in 2019. She was allegedly, okay, let me not read that. She loved poetry. She dropped out of school at age 14 and she earned her GED at the Highland Mountain Correctional Center when she was 23 years old. And she was so proud of herself and her family was so proud of her. She was 30 years old when she was murdered by Brian Smith on September 4th of 2019. And so he was seen on surveillance on that day buying beer and a phone from Wal-Mart in the hours before he murdered Kathleen Henry. He had filmed her murder, which jurors had to watch and listen to at the trial, which started in February of 2024. He tortured her for at least 36 minutes, according to the videos on the phone. There were 39 photos and 12 videos of the murder. The victim's clothes were taken off, and he taunted her as he attacked her, singing Thunderstruck by AC/DC. Yeah, singing while doing that. Oh my goodness. Okay. Also, the next day he bought Clorox cleaning products. Detectives found a black Adidas bag in his truck, which had latex gloves, duct tape, and garbage bags in it. They also found 2 homemade gun silencers in his home. One was made from an oil filter. He had at least 10 phones, including smartphones and burner phones, very much like Rex Heuermann. And hey, this guy, doesn't he remind you of him a little bit? The Long Island serial killer? Allegedly. In his home, SD cards, digital cameras, laptops, which Brian explained as being part of his eBay side hustle. Let me tell you this quickly. He texted a friend, Ian Calhoun, about being up and having fun the night of Kathleen's murder. At 9:20 a.m., he messaged Ian, I have something to show you, something I can't keep for too long. And then he met up with that friend, which is why locals want the friend to be arrested, because they say that then he would have had knowledge if that's what he was shown, right? That he was shown a body, basically. Okay, so that's what I'm going to tell you for now. Let's keep going.
But this is not the girl I picked up.
Okay, but that's definitely your voice on those audios. And I have no doubt about it. Like I said, I mean, your shoes are in the picture, your truck's in the picture, a Marriott cart, as you pointed out, is in the picture. Yeah. And then I can also point to this to you. This is the SD card file. And look at the fourth one down, what the name of that file is. Homicide, Marriott Hotel, Midtown, Anchorage. And this was modified on September 24th, 20 days later.
I did not do that. Why would I make a file like that? I know I can tell you if it says Android, it's been in an Android phone.
Genius.
I wouldn't. Why would I? No, I didn't do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said...
But, you know...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
If I had to take videos of this, I would...
What did you use?
I wouldn't write. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. No.
So you're saying you didn't label the videos with that?
No.
Okay. What kind of phone do you have?
I got a Galaxy Note 5.
Okay. How long have you had that phone?
About a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that phone linked to that number you gave me a minute ago, 205?
Yeah.
Okay. So you've had that phone more than a year, or that number?
And as we just heard, he had many phones. Lots of phones, lots of burner phones. But he's like, yeah, okay, that one. Also, I see a lot of people saying, why didn't he ask for a lawyer? Remember, he's playing it cool. He's playing it cool. And when he got there, he didn't know what he was there for. Didn't guess that. He thought he was there for, stolen stuff. Like his truck being broken into. That's what he thought he was there for. So he was chatting about that, but then when he was already quite deep into this interview, things escalated. Now he's got to play it very cool. So of course, the thing to do, the thing that would benefit him the most, which at this point we don't care about that, but yeah, is for him to be like, I need an attorney. But of course, we've seen this so many times where these overconfident perpetrators, and now he's convicted, so I could say that about him. He's a convicted killer, right? So they're overconfident and they just keep going. They think they can just say, I have no idea what that is. And I mean, it's a 5.5 hour police interrogation. So we're 48 minutes in. He's not anytime soon going to be like, all right, I need a lawyer to just stop this now. No, he'll keep talking.
How long have you had that number?
Oh, I had that number about 4 years. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So part of the way this investigation has gone so far is that we got that number based on records, state records that you've given it for many different reasons. We linked that number to you, and I obtained the records from AT&T via search warrant. And what that entails is basically the way your cell phone works, and you probably know this, is as you go around town, your cell phone pings off towers that are all over Anchorage, and it shows us basically historically of where you've been.
Okay.
So is there any reason why that we would have seen your picture, or so would it be consistent that your phone would have showed to being at that hotel at that night? Is that right?
Yes, yeah, I could show that, yeah.
Okay, so I just want to go over a few more images with you here. And this is the data back from that cell tower. I got back. So you can look right there. So that's your number right there. This is from AT&T.
Yeah.
So this is where you stayed that night.
Yeah.
Okay. Same location. This is the address. The hotel's right over here. So your phone basically is basically tracked anytime you drive around through a tower, and there's towers all over Anchorage. And going through your phone that evening, consistent with the times on those photo stamps, on those photo cards, on the 6th of September, we track your phone out to this location on the Seward Highway out by Indian Valley. So what can you tell me about that? You can look at that if you want to.
I don't remember that.
And this was 2 days later after what you're saying is a low sugar incident that you don't remember. This is 2 days later.
Yeah, the sugar things, it's like when you wake up the next day, it's fine. Mm-hmm. I don't remember this.
Okay, well, it was your phone, the 205 number. Yeah. It was your vehicle, your truck. There's cameras out on the highway at the way station, so there's no doubt about it that
Inbound
you were
and
out there.
Yeah.
No doubt about it that you were out there.
Okay, I don't remember anything else, really, I'm sorry.
So the murder took place on September 4th of 2019. He drove around with the victim's body in the back of his truck covered by a tarp for 2 days. And then the deposition site was out along that Seaward Highway, mile 108.5 of the Seaward Highway. I hope I'm saying that right, did I? And then it was on September 6th, so the 2 days later, right? That he paid for 2 Big Macs at the McDonald's. So that video clip that we saw in the beginning of him going through the drive-thru at McDonald's with a woman in the passenger seat, yeah, that was from September 6th. And so a detective testified that they were given a possible identity of that woman in the vehicle with him, but they've never been able to contact her. So where and when did he pick her up? How long did he spend with her? And who is she and where is she? That's a question, right? Erica, happy Grizzly anniversary to you.
I think you do remember it, Mr. Smith, and we need it. And like I said, we need to talk about it because right now, this right here is a small portion of this investigation, but this is just a small part of a very large investigation. And we're talking to people. We're talking to your wife. Okay.
When have you spoken to her?
We're talking to her right now.
Right now.
Okay, and like I said, this is. I mean, this is going to hit the news, and this might be your one chance to talk to give your side of it, to give your story. And that's why I'm here to talk to you today. I didn't have to come here and talk to you. I could have just had him take you. But I wanted to give you that opportunity to explain this because we got the evidence. We know you were out there. Your phone shows you were out there.
Yeah, well, it's showing it, yeah. I'm not...
So we need to talk about it. We need to address it.
I don't know what to say, honestly. Oh, I just wish you hadn't spoken to my wife. Because she'll know I've been dishonest to her.
Wow. After all that, that's his concern right now. Oh man, I wish you hadn't spoken to my wife. Okay, she's gonna know I was dishonest to her. That's your concern right now? Oh my goodness. Queen Olive, thanks for being a member for 15 months. Welcome, everyone. If you're only joining now, I hope that you'll catch up on the playlist. There's a deep dive there for you. I'll share it again in the chat just in case you feel lost. You can also expand the description box and read up a little bit about the case, and that's where you'll find the link to the playlist, as well as to interrogation files. You can go over there, subscribe, watch the no commentary version of this, okay? So... let's keep going. We are at 51 minutes. Brian Smith was convicted of 2 murders. He's suspected of a 3rd, at least. Who was the woman in the car with him? They don't know. Where is she? All right. So could that be a 4th? I don't know. And what all did he do in South Africa? He was there for 40 years.
Do you think this is a pretty significant event?
Yeah.
This is your opportunity. to write the story? You had to have thought about this if it came to this.
Isn't that so smart of them to say, this is your opportunity to write this story? Because guys like this want to be in control. They want to write their story. They want to be remembered sometimes, right? So I think that was very smart to say, this is your opportunity to write this story. Here's the evidence in front of you. This is what we have. Now you tell the story.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't doubt you. I don't doubt you. Shouldn't I get someone to maybe give me advice on my side? Yeah.
I can't give you legal advice.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
totally
that's what I mean.
I can't. Well, you're asking me, should I? And I'm telling you, that's totally your decision.
You're an adult. You have to make a decision on what you want to do. I mean, that you have that right. If you want to have someone give you some type of legal advice, it's completely up to you. Obviously, we would like you to write this ending to this so that we have your side of why.
I want to play it again for a while now. I just want to answer this question. MF said, did any of his family or friends come out with information about him? I mean, people from South Africa. Yes, we found out a little bit, and it's part of my presentation that we did before in the deep dive one that I'll link for you. It's on the playlist. And so there they said he had a great sense of humor, like he was the funny guy, you know? Funny guy in the room. They would have never suspected this. So that's all we know really about him and his past work. One of his former colleagues said that he actually wanted to start his own online dating site, but it never really gained traction. That's pretty scary, because if you think of someone like Rex Heuermann prowling on these dating sites, that's where he found his victims, right? Many of them. Well, what was this guy's plans if he was in control of an online dating site? Ooh, scary. Okay. I mean, it's already scary what he's done. I'm just saying. In South Africa, that's what he wanted to do.
Important.
Okay.
So
I woke up the next day at work.
So do you want to continue to talk to us, or would you like to talk to somebody else about advice? Because we can't make that decision for you. It sounded like you wanted to go on. I just want to make sure that you're sure you want to continue to talk to us and tell us what your story is.
Yeah. Well, look, this sounds very serious. No matter what, I'm going to be in deep shit. So, okay, I'll tell you what.
This sounds very serious. No matter what, I'm going to be in deep shit. Yes. There you go. There's the truth.
Remember, the next day at work, I saw something dripping out the back of my truck. And I was like, what the hell? And I opened up, and there was somebody there underneath. There was a blue, like a tarp at the back of my truck. And the back flap doesn't really lock. I've actually put a padlock on now since then. And I saw somebody, and I was like, what the hell? What must I do? What must I do? And because I've been out before, I thought, who's going to believe me? It's like the guy that gets stopped and he's got drugs in his pocket, and it's like, it's not mine. That's the way I was feeling. No one's going to believe me. So I was thinking for a long time, what the hell? What must I do? And then the one night I thought, well, I've got to get rid of this. I can't. And I drove out, and I did. I went and dumped it. But I was thinking of phoning in and saying,
whoa, he's cold. We know this already. He's an alleged serial killer. I'm just like, well, then I had this, saw somebody back there. No one would believe him. Is he literally trying to tell the police? Look at them. They're just like, they're listening to the story that he's writing now. Like, whoa, somebody put a body there. And no one would believe me that it wasn't me. Like, what kind of story is this? I mean, he just said, ooh, okay, this is very serious, right? I'm going to be in deep shit here. Okay, now let me tell you a story. Somebody framed me. Somebody put that body there. And then he says, dumped it. So ice cold, terrible, horrendous. Oh my goodness.
Hey, I saw somebody standing there, that didn't look good. So yeah, I did dump it, but yeah.
appreciate your honesty.
Yeah. Yeah. But if you put yourself in my shoes, would you admit to something like that immediately? You know,
No, we understand.
it's a very serious thing to be. You know.
No, it's very serious.
We understand. It's taking time for you to wrap your head around
Yeah.
what's happening right now, and that this is when and where it's happening. But you had to have thought in the past about this.
Well, I've been. Yeah, it's like what the hell, you know. And I did see a few days ago on the Alaska Daily News, they said somebody was found. And I thought, okay, well, finally they found this girl, you know.
What else did you think when you saw that? What went through your head?
Well, it was actually a relief, you know, that they found her, you know.
Interesting.
If it was winter, she'd be snowed up and nobody would know where she was.
You were hoping it would be winter. You were just hoping that the weather would turn cold and they'd never find her. But they did. Also, it was, let me just quickly refresh our recollection. I believe it was a railroad worker that found her remains and called it in. And it was his friend that texted him a link to that body being found. And that's when he said, wow, he didn't know what took them so long, right? He said, wait, let me just see. Something like that, like, oh wow, what took them so long? Interrogation Files has honored us with his presence. Thank you so much for being here. You guys, this is the source for this wonderful, long, okay, it's a horrible topic, but this long, full police interview. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Please go subscribe over there and say you're a Grizzly, okay? There'll be lots of bear comments in the chat. Yeah, he is such a psycho. I mean, this guy being like, all right. I mean, can you believe he also skipped over the opportunity to say, yeah, okay, I think I need a lawyer. I mean, they worded it so carefully, like, well, it's your opportunity. I mean, right, it's your right. If you want to, you're an adult, you can decide. And then he decides to rather just be like, no, it's cool, I got this. I could tell the story. Someone framed me. I mean, come on. Keith said, get the 2-inch mattress and stale food ready. Yeah, he is so toast here.
You know.
Why didn't you, when you saw that, you saw it dripping out of the back of your truck, and
I was scared.
if you didn't remember what happened, why didn't you call somebody and say, hey, there's somebody in the back of my truck?
Well, that's the thing. Who would believe me? It's like I said. It's like the guy walking around. Police found drugs in his pocket. You know, like, and he says, no, it's not mine, and everybody says, oh yes, we believe you. You know, it's the same thing. Who would have believed me that I found something in the back of my truck? So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you describe when was it? Do you think that you went out to?
Well, it was 2 days later.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do. I was shitting myself. What the hell?
Did you tell
And
anybody?
every now and then I'd actually go look, like, yes, it's not a dream. There is somebody here.
Oh my word, he said, yes, it's not a dream. There's actually somebody here. You mean a dead body in the back of your truck? And he's not freaking out. He's like, whoa, better go drive around and put it somewhere. And he says it so carelessly, just like, dump it. What? That tells us everything we need to know. And then what did he do? He picked up another woman and went to get McDonald's. 2 Big Macs is what he ordered. By the way, let me correct myself exactly what he texted there. So, on October 2nd of 2019, when Kathleen's skeletal remains were discovered by Alaska Railroad employee and one employee, the two, him and his friend, messaged again. Ian, his friend, sent him a link to a news article about the discovery of the remains. Remember, he was on a trip with his wife at the time. Okay? As soon as he landed back, they arrested him. well, they detained him for questioning, which is on this day. So he just came from the airport to this police station on this day, which is also why they're talking to his wife. Right? She was like right there with him. Anyway, so they said October 2nd, okay? The two messaged. Ian sent him a link. And you know what he replied? Brian replies, oops. And that he was surprised it took this long. Ian then said, I was kind of hoping it would hurry and snow. That's what his friend texted him. That's why there's a petition. If you don't know about the petition, it's in the description box. Because all the locals want this friend to also be arrested. Because clearly he knew about this. Right? Okay, so here we go.
You know, no, I didn't tell anyone. I was like scared. Yeah.
Okay. And what time was it 2 days later that you went out there?
It was late at night. Stephanie had gone to sleep already. So I saw the gap. Okay, let me get out of here. It's a sign, it's a chance that I can get out without... Because in the day I'm working, I can't get out. And I knew I've got to go far, If I dumped it in town, where somebody would find it quickly, there's a chance I would be seen. So...
In the photo, you mentioned the blue tarp. Was there anything else in the back of the truck with the body?
No.
Okay. What about this blanket here?
Oh, yes, sorry. There was this, it was a white thing, she was wrapped in white with a blue top over that.
And where's the tarp and the blanket now?
This guy. Oh, yeah, the blanket. See, I can speak like a South African. Oh, yeah, the blanket with his accent, right? So it's just like, oh, yeah, she was wrapped in a blanket. There was a tarp. I remember now. Oh, now you remember. Can you believe that he even tried to, like, relate to the police officers? Like, what would you do if you were in my shoes? You wouldn't just confess right away like that, right? It's one of those that reminds me almost of Jeffrey Dahmer when he was trying to explain to police officers things that he did with human remains. And like, And they were like, we don't know. We don't know. So stop saying you know. And he's like, but you know. So here as well, it's like, well, what would you do in my shoes? I don't think they'd be in your shoes. Very few people would. My goodness. Thank you so much all for being here with me.
Well, that I tossed in the dumpster to get rid of it. So I didn't want to throw it out. You'll spot it immediately.
So you didn't want it to be found immediately?
When I came into town, I can't remember where it was, but the first dumpster I found, I just threw it away.
Okay.
Yeah. What gets me is my voice on that. That is my voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's really troubling.
Okay. And you said you haven't told anybody about this?
No.
Liar. Told your friend.
All right. I want to ask.
And you heard it. You can hear his lying. He's like, no. Yes, you told your friend Ian about it. You actually said, I need to show you something I can't keep for long. And then they met in some secluded spot, like totally out in nature, but quite close to Ian's house. And they were there for, we actually have it in the presentation, exactly how many minutes they were out there for and all of that. I think it was, I can't remember, 6 minutes or something. They said it spent 10 minutes at Forsyth Park between 4:46 and 4:56 p.m. that day. That's when he was placing her remains out there where it was found. But he told his friend, come and look, I have something to show you. And they met up in a secluded spot. So this friend knows, but he's like, no, I don't tell anyone. Except he told his friend he had a lot of fun. He was up all night having a lot of fun. The lot of fun was captured on his phone. Well, maybe even on GoPro. It was captured on video and photos. Oh, my word.
Ask you to kind of shift gears a little bit. Alicia Youngblood, can we talk about her for a little bit?
Okay.
So what can you tell me about Alicia?
Shit. Don't tell my wife about it, please. Last year, I helped her. She used to work with me, and she left where I was working, and I left, and then she wanted to continue in the career, and I helped her study to get up to building some of the inspection stuff I did. I helped train her on that stuff, and we had a small little affair. So
Ooh, who got the chills? Who got the chills? He's so creepy. We had a small little affair. Ew, this guy. Oh my word. Dobie says, love this community. Thank you so much. Also, the lady he's talking about now is the one I mentioned at the beginning of the stream. Alicia Youngblood is one of his ex-girlfriends, or someone he, as he's saying, he had a fling with or an affair with. Now, she was trying to warn the police about the murders because apparently he'd confided in her. So when he's like, no, he didn't tell anyone. You told your friend Ian, and it sounds like you told an ex-girlfriend. And that lady took her own life. I wonder if she felt hopeless that no one's listening to me. No one's listening to me. I'm trying to tell them, like, this guy's a killer. It could be. I'm speculating there because we don't know why she decided to end her own life. But yeah, there's like, oh, here we go. Yeah, Kathleen said, don't tell my wife. How does this piece of cuck not realize it's all coming out at the trial? I know, right? And yet, even though it all came out at the trial, apparently his wife is still staying with him. She's loyal to him. That's insane. Oh my goodness.
But she went back to Texas end of last year, and that was good. It was like overdone, you know. That was a part of my life I wanted to forget.
Okay.
She's a very nice person. We all got our problems, but you know, she came here to get away from problems she had. You know, so once all that was done, she went back again.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you and Alicia talk about? Because you guys had conversations, right, on like messengers, chatting, stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay. What would you guys talk about?
Usually alcohol. And Texas. She loves Texas, and she's explained to me that it's a very nice place. Yeah.
Okay. And keep in mind that like I said, I've got your phone records, search warrants, and chat stuff. So I've seen the stuff you've chatted about, the stuff you and Alicia talked about, and that's what I want to talk to you about.
Okay, Alicia and I did do some fantasy stuff. She liked it to be slapped a little bit and things like that. She had like a little rape fantasy kind of thing. She told me when she was a kid she was raped a few times, you know, and that's why I think she's doing it now. Yeah. So I would sometimes tell her I'm going to rape her and do this and do that, and it turned her on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whose idea was that when that came up?
Oh, I picked it up from her side. I'm usually quite conservative about sex.
Sure.
And,
right. This alleged serial killer, he's usually quite conservative about sex, okay? What? Oh my goodness. But okay, we're listening.
Then she'd ask me to slap her, you know, and we actually made up fantasies almost like this, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you know, kill somebody here, you know, and rape and all that stuff. I mean, we
Did you guys talk about that on the?
yeah, we'd fantasize, you know, that's fantasy stuff, that, and yeah.
All right. How long did you guys have a relationship for?
We started chatting the November, December of 2017, and it was about March, April that things started getting serious. We were just friends. I basically used her as a place to go have a drink. You know, we'd buy these mics, and I'd buy two.
Oh my word. He's like, I basically used her, you know, as a place to go buy drinks. Yeah, you used her, all right. And prosecutors said at the trial that Alicia had apparently said to police that he bragged about the murders he committed. She was so traumatized by it.
You give one for her, one for me, then I could sit there, have a drink, and go home, and then it developed into something a bit more. And she left August, about this time, 2018, she left, yeah.
Okay. We talked to Alicia and we saw, and like I said, we have your phone number, so we know the stuff that you guys send back and forth and the videos you would send and stuff like that. And so you have to understand that, and that's why I don't believe that you don't remember about these things, because it's very similar to the stuff that you would talk about with her and send to her. And that's why I'm not believe. I appreciate your honesty about the truck and going to take the body out there. I believe you're honest with me about that.
Yeah.
But I don't believe that about you not remembering stuff. Okay, and that's what we need to figure out, because I just don't believe that you don't remember that.
Okay.
Okay. So that you got to see where I'm coming from. That plus the stuff you discussed with Alicia.
But
that's where there's a kind of a holdup.
I haven't spoken to Alicia in a long time. But every now and then we'll say, "Hey, how are you?" And I'm fine. And
When's the last time you messaged her or talked to her?
A month ago or so. If I can show you on my phone.
Okay.
And it's like a one sentence thing, basically, a one word thing, you know.
So Kraken said, are we sure that she actually took her own life? Apparently at the time, I can't remember, it's on that presentation somewhere. Apparently at the time he was already arrested. So it was before the trial actually took place because, of course, this is October 2019. The trial only started in February of 2024. Somewhere there, she apparently took her own life. That's what's been reported. That's what the prosecutor said at the trial as well. But I do not know the circumstances of that, right? Okay.
I'll send her a picture of the snow or whatever, you know. This is what you're missing or something. Yeah.
Okay. So I just, like I said, I feel like you do remember more about this, and just like I said a minute ago, it's kind of something you need to get ahead of. We need to talk about because it is a big deal. This is a big thing. I mean, you looked it up on the news and you saw the news story, so you realize this is a big thing.
Well, I saw the day they found her.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that. I'm like, oh, okay. And I've actually been meaning to tonight. I was hoping to go and look and see what's happened. Is any news?
What made you search that article that day?
I don't know. I just keep in touch with what's going on in Anchorage.
Oh,
you know, with my job now, I need to stay in touch. You know,
Sure. Thank you to Interrogation Files for the heads up that there will be a part where they play horrific audio. We will not be playing that. I will skip past that or I'll mute that. I don't know how long it is, but don't worry. We won't be traumatizing ourselves or disrespecting, you know, the victim or their family or anything like that. So thank you so much, Interrogation Files, not only for sending me this so that we could all watch this together. Thank you so much. But also for being so protective. I really, really appreciate that.
Things happening, you know, we're going to be busy this weekend because there's a music function or whatever, you know, that kind of stuff. So I stay in touch with what's going on in the news.
Okay. Is it possible that maybe, because you said there was always those fantasies that you and Alicia would talk about, and I think what I think happened here is I think that maybe you were possibly having one of those fantasies and then you were drinking and maybe it just got a little bit out of hand with that. Does that sound about right for that evening?
That's hectic. That a fantasy turning into something like that, turning into real. That's going too far. I know I might not be the most stable person, you know, I drink a bit, I swear a bit, you know, but taking a fantasy and turning it into real, it's...
You could hear him swallow the, like literally gulp. Yeah, no one believes you. He's like, no, why would anyone do that? Like, what kind of reasonable person would ever take a fantasy and turn it into reality? You would, okay.
It's going too far.
Oh, is it?
Okay. Some of the other conversations you had with Alicia was talking about other bodies that you might know about, that you might have had a part of.
Yeah, well, this is so inconvenient about that with me and her. You know, we would make up stories and about things we've done, you know, and you try and outdo the next one, you know, about shooting people and poisoning people and doing, you know, stuff like that. It's that was just sick stuff with us, you know.
I don't really believe him. You know, if he's like, that was just a fantasy. Us talking about like shooting people, poisoning people. I don't think so. I mean, it could. You just never know. But I don't think so. That sounds horrifying, right? So yeah, Lakeside Lawyer is like going way too far because he's like, yeah, that's going a little bit far. Way too far.
The one day I actually wrote to a whole thing where I said, you know, I declare that I will one day sneak into your house and grab you and tie you up and pour vodka down your throat and screw you till your brains pop out or something, you know, like that kind of thing. You know, we liked that. It was a thing with us.
You told her you'd killed somebody.
Yeah. Well, she said once that she thinks she killed someone. So I said, well, cool, I actually have killed somebody, yes, you know. And it's always like something you can't prove because it's like, but you know, like the nerd that's always got the girlfriend, the beautiful model girlfriend in another town. He claims to have her, he's got a picture of her, but you can't prove it because you can't bring her here. So the same thing, you know, I would like make up, you know, there, other side of the town, I killed somebody there, but I can't prove it. It wasn't on the news, kind of thing.
But apparently he showed her the videos. Yeah, and photos, and bragged.
You know, that kind of stuff. So we spoke about a lot of weird stuff. This was just part of it, you know, making up stories like this was just a part of it. Yeah.
And like I said, we're talking to Alicia right now.
Mm-hmm.
What is she going to tell us about this evening?
I have not spoken to. So you say this happened now about a month ago. I haven't spoken to Alicia in a long time.
You didn't tell your wife you found a body in the back of your truck?
No, my wife would kill me. My wife used to work for Homeland Security. You know, it'll destroy her. That's why it'll destroy my wife if anything like this comes out.
And she doesn't know anything about your fantasies, prostitutes?
She's suspects that I've probably had a girlfriend or two. We've been having a bit of issues for some time now. So she suspects that I might have another girlfriend. I don't think she ever suspected Alicia, because Alicia was just like a visit and whatever. It wasn't a... Yeah. But yeah, Alicia and I used to fantasize about stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, she liked it if I choked her, you know. And I'd put my fingers here on her neck like that until she like went funny, and she enjoyed that. That's what it was, you know.
Okay. Is it possible that like on this evening some of those fantasies were coming out? Because I mean that's exactly what you did on those videos. That's what you did to this girl, except that she wasn't enjoying it.
No.
And you were talking to her. I mean,
that's my voice.
You were talking to her clearly as we're talking right now, and pointing out things and laughing and saying things, and you were aware of what was going on while you were doing this. Okay, nobody's going to believe. Who do you think is going to believe you when you say I don't remember this happening? Nobody's going to remember that.
I know.
That's why you say this is your. You get to write this. You get to explain this. There's an explanation for it, right? Something happened that night with you, whether it was a fantasy that you were carrying out that went too far, but something happened and you remember it. The video shows you doing it.
Yeah. Does it show my face?
So you can't deny it.
It doesn't show your face. It shows it, but it's your voice. And your hands
that
and your body.
Like
you can see your body.
And some moles on your arms and stuff like that. I mean, there's no doubt about it that it's you. You know it's you. You said it's you. You said that's your truck. That's your voice.
That's my truck. It's my voice.
So you can't use that.
Yeah.
So you can't say...
Maybe it's not you. Because we know it's you. We're absolutely... We have to figure out what happened, which in this case we are 100% absolutely sure of what happened because we know already.
Yeah.
But we also have to figure out why it happened. And why it happened, I don't know, is not a reason of why it happened. There is a reason why it happened. And if you add up talking to Alicia, going through your phone and your Googles and your accounts and everything, we're going to see some stuff that's going to lead us to, that's going to be very similar to this. Is that right?
What do you mean?
Similar to, we're going to see videos of other women, not necessarily by you, but we're going to see stuff like this that you've watched before, that you viewed, kind of snuff films as you would. Women getting beat up, women getting choked. We're going to see that kind of stuff on your stuff that we're searching, correct?
And he probably, I wonder if he sold it anyway, because he was like, who would, as we saw in the Jailhouse interview that I played before, like who would film this? It's probably to sell it, right? I mean, it is actually snuff films. Loki, thank you so much. Let me just quickly tell you guys some facts while we just interrupting you. So during his trial, which started in February, right? It was a 3-week trial. He wrote an 11-page letter to Alaska's local news source complaining about evidence being presented in the case against him, like during the trial, okay? He's writing letters to the local news. The DOC confirmed that the letter was written and sent by him. It was dated February 6th of 2024. He complains about the Department of Corrections reading his email. He said, I only got to read your article today. I can't talk about the case. All I need to say is that this latest news of a questionable source of the SD card is something I suspected and pointed out 4 years ago. No one believed me. It's a very serious issue. I will let you find out for yourself. I can simply nudge you in the right direction. He also wrote in this letter about his ex-girlfriend, Alicia. He said on 7/4 of 2021, she allegedly took her own life. Then he said the Anchorage DA's office is famous for threatening and coaching witnesses. I also reported it to Detective Lee. I got no reply because Alicia is native, so no one cares. That's what he wrote. So that is when she died, was 7/4. So I would assume that's the American format, which would be I think it's like the 7th of, it's the 4th of July, 2021. So, and I don't know what the circumstances are. That's all we know for that. Okay.
No. I like a bit of porn, but I actually don't like snuff too much. I don't like blood and gore. Yeah.
So what happened for this to get to this point? There's an explanation for it.
I'm serious. I do not remember this. I don't remember this face. I don't remember. That's my truck. That's my truck. It's my voice. That looks like my shoes. I wear jeans usually. It looks like jeans in the picture. I do not. I've got a blank on. If that's me, I've got a total blank.
Total blank, guys, can't remember. Also earlier, Trotters64 said Russell Williams also wore his murder boots to his interrogation. Yeah.
Things blocking this out of my mind.
So when you went out there and you dumped the body, which you say you did,
yeah.
Did you take any photographs of out there while you were out there?
I don't remember.
So you're admitting that you were at the hotel, that's your stuff, that's your voice, and you admit that you took the body out there and you dumped the body, right? So why would there be photographs of her in the back of your truck at the dump site, which you admit to doing? On the same SD card, listen to me.
Okay.
On the same SD card that has all these photos on it and videos of you killing her. So tell me how a body can be found in the back of your truck randomly while you're at work, because you want us to believe somebody else put that body in there. And then you just happen to drive it out there, and there's photographs
on the same SD card.
On the same SD card of this woman in the back of your truck with the sheets that are on that cart.
September 6th, 2 days later, like you said, that's the date stamp on the photo. It's a little small, but you can read it there. 2 days later, when you were aware of what was going on.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I don't know. I don't know.
And like you said, like you've said multiple times, this might be the one chance you get to talk about this and to explain it. And I don't know is not going to cut it.
I know. I can imagine your frustration, yeah, but
it's not about frustration. It's just about giving you that opportunity now to explain.
I can't believe you want this to be. He admits that he took the body out there and that he dumped it out there, but he has no recollection of anything that happened at the hotel where he admitted he was, where his truck was, where he pointed it out it was, where his voice is on there, calling somebody a bitch and killing somebody. And so you wanted the story to be, you blanked that portion of this event out.
If you hypnotize me now, I can tell you you'll see. I'll say I don't know. Please, I don't know. I don't know.
If you hypnotize me now, then I'll tell you. I don't know. You're telling us right now that you don't know. No, but you can hypnotize me. I'm telling you. Then I'm going to tell. Does he think there's like the truth serum? I don't know. Oh, you know. Oh, you know.
I cannot remember this. I cannot remember this.
So you were both.
This. I don't remember taking the photos on the back of the truck. The timestamps I know about these things. I've got an RT background. I know.
You
exactly,
know it's accurate.
I know exactly. And you can't really even fool that.
Can't be changed. Can't be updated.
If those come from my phone, then I took them. But I.
And we can tell that this is something that's going to be hard for you to talk about. Well, we can tell you that you're not telling the truth about remembering this event. Right? And it's because you know what happened is so horrific that it's going to be difficult to talk about. But we have to. There needs to be a why. I think that you owe everybody a why. I mean, as horrific as this is going to be for your wife, what was going on? Is this something that you were fantasizing about and it went too far? Because you're talking to her, you're telling her what you're doing to her.
Yeah.
It's an ugly video. It doesn't look good for you. So it'd be a good explanation for it.
I'm believing you. I honestly, I do not remember this. I do not really.
I mean, I think you got after this thing and you panicked. And that's why it took 2 days for you to figure out what to do. You didn't know what to do with her.
Well, I panicked when I saw there in the back of my truck. I panicked. Yes, I didn't know what the hell. You know, I'm sitting at work. I can't do anything. I can't, you know. And there's stuff dripping out the back of the truck. Like what the hell, you know.
So you knew you had to get rid of her at that point.
Yeah, and I didn't know where to go. You know, I was scared I'd get all the police. They're going to say, "Oh, you did it," you know.
Well, you did.
Yeah.
All right, you're on video doing it. There's photographs.
Well, you did.
Yeah.
So, why? What happened? What? Because because you were angry at your wife, taking it out.
No, I do get very angry with her. Sometimes she's very frustrating, but not that angry. Not that angry. Never.
You mentioned sometimes having troubles sexually, and that night it might have been an issue between the two of you. Is that possibly that could have what caused it? You know, you guys are you guys are hot in the moment. You picked her up for this reason, and then you're not able to perform, and that can be pretty frustrating. I can understand.
Did she do something to upset you?
Who?
This girl.
I don't remember this girl. I'm not lying to you. I don't remember before the next morning. I don't remember. I do not remember.
So the next morning?
Yeah, when I found her.
So you found her the next morning?
Yeah.
The fourth? How long was she in the back of your truck?
Well, it was at work that day that I found it.
Okay.
The next day.
So what day did you find her when you took her out there to dump her? Did you find her 2 days before that?
Yes.
Okay, so she was in your
for 2 days.
The 4th in the morning.
On the
because the 6th. This is the 6th.
Yeah. So the 4th.
So you found her, and you were at the hotel where you work when you found her.
Yeah.
Okay. What did you do with her between the 4th morning and the 6th at 1 o'clock in the morning?
I left. I didn't touch her. I left it like that.
Did you take her home?
Yes.
Parked in the garage?
I park outside the garage.
With stuff leaking out of your truck?
Well, it had stopped. You know, but there was a little bit that came out. I didn't know what to do. We didn't know what to do
because you had just killed somebody accidentally on purpose. Whatever your motive was, when you were role playing, when you were fantasizing, and it went too far, and you couldn't reverse it, and you didn't know what to do. And so if 2 days later you finally said, it's going to start smelling, so eventually you got to get it out of your truck. But what we need to get to is the fantasy, whatever was happening in your mind to get to the point where you killed this person.
I don't know why. If I did it, I don't know why. I do not know. If it's my voice, I'm not lying to you. Well, I'm not denying that that is my voice. I've got a unique voice.
So you did do it. We can get past the if you did it. There's video evidence of you doing it.
He's like, that is my voice. I've got a unique voice. But the way he says it is quite proud, hey, of his voice. Wow. As somebody pointed out there, Jill found it. He uses such cold language, which of course we would expect, but still. Siona said, I found it. Notice that? Yes. And even for him to be like, well, the next morning, there the body was. Well, he says it, but there the body was in the back of his truck. Okay, but how did it get there? Apparently, he had wheeled her body out on a luggage cart from that hotel. Yeah, like in plain sight, meaning like covered up and everything. I just mean he was very bold with all the things he did. Very arrogant, I'm sure that was quite the thrill for him, right? Wow, so scary.
Yeah, I don't remember. I do not. Honestly, I do not remember. I don't remember this. I do not remember this.
On these on the videos, on several of them.
Yeah.
In my movies, sadly, everybody dies. Bitch, what are my followers going to think of you? People need to know when they're being serial killed. These are things you're saying to her while you're doing that.
Why would I say that? That's stupid to say things like that. No.
Yeah, in the video, you're telling her that as you're strangling her. As you're stepping your foot onto her throat. As you're punching her in the vagina as hard as you can.
And kicking her in the vagina as hard as you can.
Poking her in the eye and laughing about it.
I would not do that to her.
And playing with her nipples too in AC/DC. I mean, there's so many things in this video that are unmistakably you and your voice doing it. And so, what kind of fantasy? It looks like some type of sexual fantasy, or you have some type of a sexual urge that's not being met or something, and you're taking it out on her.
Because that's the reason why it happened. We need to know. That's an explanation. We need to know about.
That would explain it.
I don't remember. I don't know is not. Nobody's going to believe that.
We've heard all kinds of explanations for things. You're not going to tell us anything we haven't heard. I guarantee you.
Honestly, I do not remember doing this. I do not.
So it had to have gone through your mind while you're on vacation or whatever, especially when you saw the article. What am I going to do? What am I going to say if the police come to me? That had to have crossed your mind. And what is it that you thought you were going to say to the police?
Well, look, to be honest, in my mind, as far as I know, before that, I went out, I had a fight with my wife, I went out, I picked up a girl and I took her back to where I found her the next morning at the homeless shelter place. I went to work. Through the day sometime I went to my truck to go get some lunch, went around the back and I saw something dripping out the back. And that's when my nightmare started. It's like, what the heck? What do I do? I can't. Then I was thinking about, do I go to the police? Do I dump it? Where I parked my truck was actually right next to some dumpsters at work. So I could have just dumped there, but I mean, it's like, no, that's like right here, you know. And I started thinking and I realized I need to go find like a lonely stretch of road and go, you know.
So you're a mechanic at these hotels, right?
Yeah.
You know that they have surveillance systems. You know that the Marriott Midtown has a camera system, right? You know that there's all of them have inside cameras, right?
Yeah. I do not remember taking photos of it. But when I dumped it,
could anybody else have done this and been you?
Look, it has to be me. I was the only person there. It has to be me. But I don't remember it. I'm telling you, I do not remember taking the phone.
So if you ever did think about, what if I get caught one day? Okay, all I'm going to say the whole time is, I don't remember. Don't remember. No idea. Don't remember. Complete blank. No idea. Wow. Yeah, and Stefan's like, my nightmare. He's talking about, that's where my nightmare started. Wow. And yeah, you guys caught that he was saying the things that he said to the victim is like, what are my followers going to think? You know? Yeah, so if he had followers, where were those followers? Was it on the dark web? Was he selling things? It sounds potentially like that, which is an added layer of horror.
I do not remember seeing. Honestly.
You know, people can understand. People know that we're human. We all make mistakes. You make mistakes. We all make. People understand that. Mm-hmm. But what people understand is when people make mistakes. And saying I don't remember this happening is not gonna cut it on there. I know you remember this happening.
I do not. I'm telling you, I do not remember this. I hardly even remember picking up the girl. I've got a flash in my mind of her shouting vodka.
It's safe to say that's not this woman. The woman you're talking about?
No, she had short hair.
So we did that.
Very short
That's
hair.
a different time, the day before, something. It's not this day. Pretty safe to say that.
It was this day because I checked out that day. And I wanted to get her out of the room, and that's why I waited for. I would have just left her and said, listen, I'm going to work. And you walk to work yourself. But I wanted to make sure she was at work so that she's not there, so that Marriott don't find her sleeping in the room and then phoning and saying, Brian, why is there a woman sleeping here, you know? And also I was liable for the room if she breaks anything. So I took the woman back to work the next morning.
Like, how can he be sticking to that story? He's sounding like Jesse Kershevsky over here. Do you guys remember watching the Jesse Kershevsky trial with me? The eye drops murder trial? She lies like... And she had multiple police interviews. I think there were 5 or 6 of them. My goodness. And it's just like repeating all kinds of facts. If you're just listening, I'm doing air quotes. Yeah, facts. As if, no, but I remember, like he just says, dropping her off at work. No, but you didn't. They've just told you. Well, then that's a different person. We're talking about this person over here. No, doesn't remember. Sure, I can lie.
I cannot remember her name but she was shortish and a little bit stumpy. Short hair. She's uniquely you'll recognize her.
That's not her.
Yeah. No.
You're describing her, everything except the hair.
No. She had short hair. No. I dropped her off in the morning, and I still drove in, and I parked, and she climbed out, and I was still thinking, like, woman, just get out. I need to get to work. You're holding me back here. I dropped her off at work, and the friends were greeting her, and that's why I know that she's not just a little entry level worker there. She must be a bigger worker there. And she still said to me that she doesn't usually go with guys. She prefers girls. And she had short hair. Because it still grossed me out because it's like a guy type of hair, It was not this person.
You didn't anticipate us getting a hold of this SD card, did you? Did you intend for that to happen?
No, I wouldn't. I don't.
And when you lost it, or when you didn't know where it was, you were curious about it, right?
No,
Where do you think this card came from? Do you think this card was stolen out of your truck at the time it was broke into? Or do you think it happened at a different event? Did somebody else take it from you? That kind of thing.
Well, my truck was broken into before this date.
So it's safe to say this was not taken out of your truck, correct?
Yeah. I would say.
Is there any other event that you can think of that we might have been notified about when that card was found or taken?
No. But I can tell you these are not GoPro photographs.
They are your GoPro photos?
No, they're not GoPro.
Okay.
A GoPro is it's a fish. It's a lens like it.
So this was with a phone.
The phone or a normal camera. Yeah.
Okay, and remember he bought a phone from Wal-Mart and beers that day. So maybe it was taken with that phone and then he transferred it over at home, probably to his computer and then to a flash drive, and it was also on one of the phones.
But this is not a GoPro. Yeah.
So how do you think we came into being holding that SD card? You didn't give it to us, right?
No. I don't even know that I'm missing any SD cards.
Well, you are.
Yeah.
Missing that one.
I got one exactly like it. I think exactly like it in my 3D printer at the moment.
Have you had an interest in killers? Have you ever had an interest in killing or killers? Do you have an interest in that?
Oh,
Is that
it.
something that you... A lot of people are intrigued by killers, serial killers, any kind of killer. Do you have any...
Oh, well, everyone is. Especially with Alicia, we spoke about that kind of stuff, you know.
I don't know if everyone is. I know we're watching true crime all the time. You know, we might be interested in studying that with a topic, but he's like, everyone is. No.
What kind of interest do you have in that? What intrigues you, or why do you do that?
Well, it's I don't know. It's just the weirdness of it, I suppose. That you got like a normal person that does something weird like it, you know. Like the Unabomber guy. I mean, he was supposed to be quite an intelligent guy, and yeah, he ends up killing people. I did hear that he actually wasn't really bad. He was just going against society, basically. You know?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those people are like that. And not necessarily bad. A lot of them have normal lives, everyday lives, and most of the time people don't know anything else, know that part of them. Most serial killers are like that. And you told her that you killed at least one other person in Alaska.
Yeah. Well, that's no, okay. The thing was with Alicia, we were trying to outdo each other. You know, it was like, yeah, you know, I ran away from South Africa. Wow, you know, but I randomly met my wife. We chatted for a long time. We became friends, and that's why I left South Africa. But everybody wants to leave South Africa.
Put yourself in our shoes, though.
Yeah. That's why it seems like it's very inconvenient. Well, but basically,
I can't believe how much he generalizes. Everybody, you know, is interested in serial killers. Everybody wants to leave South Africa. Yeah, none of those. That's just him projecting, you know.
I shouldn't have spoken to Alicia about stupid things like that, you know?
But you didn't just speak to her about it. You showed her videos of you punching women in the vagina, buttering up your fist and shoving it into the vagina, kicking them in the vagina. She saw these things, and she was frankly
and you told
terrified
her it was you. Now whether it was or wasn't.
Oh, no, man.
And it's exactly the same thing that we're seeing in these videos.
No. I showed her. I found... when we were doing this whole thing, okay, we were trying to... The whole thing was about suffocation. I remember this now. And I found a video of a woman that was on a bed like this. A big thing like this, and there was a piece of like latex plastic put over it.
Is he smiling while telling this story? Like, no, man. This must be a coping mechanism. If he feels embarrassed by something that somebody's just revealed, it's like, no, man. Let me tell you a little story. So there's this other video of what? Wow.
And the air was sucked out, and this girl's like suffocating, and she's doing this. And that was one of Alicia's fantasies, was the suffocation thing. So I recorded it and sent it to her, like, wow. And this was like a huge turn on for her. And the more I turned her on, the more I would receive, you know. And on the same website, I then found other pictures and stuff like that of people hitting and punching, and I actually tried to tell her, yeah, that was me, I did that one, you know. I still said, yeah, that's my hand, look at my hand, it's my hand, you know. And she said, no, bullshit, that's not you, you know. So
so we'll probably
that's where those.
And it probably was, because apparently Alicia had told the detectives and then the prosecutors, you know, before she died in 2021, that he bragged about it, about the murders, and about the videos that he had. Apparently he'd shown her some of them, so wow.
The pictures come from.
So we'll probably find, because like I said, we're searching your stuff, all your digitals, all your electronics. So
Your house.
We'll probably find
We're
those.
at your house right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're probably going to find those videos.
We took your truck.
You got my truck, okay.
Yes.
And you're saying that's your hand in the video. And we're going to know now because we have a video with your hand in it. And so we're going to be able to compare it, right?
Yeah.
You're actually not denying that that's you, actually, right? You're just saying you don't remember it, is what you're saying.
You say you saw me pushing this cart. If you saw me, it must be me. That is my voice.
That's your truck.
I'm telling you, I do not remember this.
We can see your stomach and your legs, and I mean I can't see your legs under your jeans, but obviously your stomach, the way it's the same, it matches what I saw in the video.
Yeah,
when you're straddling on top of her and tying a string around her neck and strangling her with it.
Well,
So you know, like Detective Lee.
Just him look down, just check. Okay, yeah, you guys. Okay, sure, you could see my stomach. He's like, what?
Told you we have your AT&T records.
Yeah.
Where your phone was. We also have Google records. You have Locator on your phone.
Yeah.
It's been on since 2016. I'm not saying that this is the kind of person that you are, but you have this person is in you somewhere because this person did this.
I'm trying to convince myself about this.
And it might not be the person that everybody else sees every day, that your wife sees and your friends see and all that type of stuff. But this person exists, and Alicia saw this person. Maybe other prostitutes saw this person, but this woman certainly saw this person, and that's the person that we need to hear what his thought process was, what it was that you were thinking, if it was a fantasy, if it went too far, what it was, because that's what we need to know. Because we can.
Now they're talking as if, you know, it's like another personality, like just whatever, dude. If you want to distance yourself from that, tell us what that person did then. Kimber's Ohio said, when someone says, I'm telling you, it's normally a lie, I want to add, except in South Africa, we often say, I'm telling you, which is actually when you're telling the truth, you're like, yeah, bro, I'm telling you. So, depends, I suppose, where you're from, right? Elbow's mum, thank you so much for being a member for 34 months. Thank you all for being here as we watch this. We are only at an hour and a half in. This police interrogation is 5.5 hours long. That's why we're going to split it up. You know, we have to watch it in at least 2 parts. So we'll see how it goes now. But this guy talked. And yes, this happened at an airport because he was on a trip with his wife. And when he landed, they detained him for questioning, and then they arrested him.
Tell you're a great person. You have a great job. You've maintained a job for a long time. You're very smart. We're going to find that out. Your wife's not going to know anything like this exists of you. Right? But it does.
Yeah.
But it does. And only you can provide that answer and that explanation for us as to why. And we already know that it was you and that you did it. And I can see the wheels turning. You might not be able to tell us, well, I did it because. But you've had this fantasy, whether it was about sexual, choking, killing, whatever it was.
The one night with Alicia, she kept saying I was press harder. She actually wanted to blank out. And I actually stood up and I walked away. And I said to her, no,
but that's Alicia.
Crazy, you know?
That's Alicia. This is not Alicia.
But if I was going to have a fantasy going further on, I could have carried on with Alicia, you know?
But this is a year later.
Except Alicia, you have a history with Alicia. You know how easy it would be to find out who killed Alicia? You would have had a several months relationship. If Alicia was killed, it wouldn't be difficult to pinpoint you for it. But if you pick up somebody in the dark of the night who's an indigent person, homeless person, down by the homeless shelter, these are the type of people that are perfect for this. And that's what you did. All right? And I don't know whether you've carried out fantasies with the other prostitutes that didn't go this far.
Yeah. Well, yes. If you want to kill someone, yes, a prostitute is probably your best bet. Well, actually, not a prostitute. They usually have a pimp or whatever that'll still keep track of them or whatever. You know, you didn't bring back your money tonight to
an indigent person, some homeless person somewhere.
Oh my word, he's just like literally revealing his MO as well. Well, if you want to kill someone, might as well what? Pick on someone vulnerable? Dumbass. He's just like, well, okay, let me tell you the strategy, basically. Sure. And the arrogance.
Yeah, nobody's gonna miss.
Yeah.
And that word's gonna get out. People are gonna hear about this, and we're gonna hear from people that you've had this type of thing with. Maybe not this far, but we're gonna hear stuff, and then we're gonna realize, like we already know, he did not remember that. He knew what was going on. He's smarter than that. He remembers this, and I know you do, Brian. I know you remember this. And it gets back to that whole thing about this is your chance. This is your chance to jump out in front of it.
I don't remember any of this. I don't remember. Even this, I should remember that. I do not remember this. I'm sorry I lied to you about the beginning, about the dumpings thing, but I don't remember this.
They'll be like, sure, you're forgiven. You can go. Okay, I'm sorry I lied to you about the beginning thing and the dumping. Okay, yeah. But this, I don't remember at all. Right, wow.
Honestly, I do not remember this girl. Yeah, like this. I don't remember that. I remember...
Okay. Do you remember... Where's our first one of her?
Before she... No, that face...
You remember her?
That face is not familiar. There's another one you've got where your hair's all messed up. I don't remember.
But this is what you did to her.
Is that the same person?
It is the same person.
The same person.
The dentals match. We matched it up.
Jesus God.
And we'll just tell her parents that he doesn't remember. And we'll just tell your wife he's done it. He's on video doing it, but he doesn't remember. He remembers dumping the body, but he doesn't remember.
You think your wife's going to believe that?
No,
you're a smart guy. You're a grown,
I wouldn't
you're a grown
believe
man.
that.
You're not.
If I was you, I wouldn't believe that. If you're in a little bit of shock or something like that, doing something like this will wake you up out of the shock. You know, I do not.
You woke up out of the shock.
No, well, why are you doing it? You know, it's like, yeah.
Have you ever shared videos online? Besides your YouTube?
No.
You don't have a shared file network system?
Oh no. A shared file, imagine, because he did talk about his followers while he was committing the torture and the murder. He's like, what are my followers gonna think? Ooh, my goodness. Okay. So Tina said, does this go to trial? There's already been a trial. He's already been sentenced to 226 years in prison for 2 murders. He's a suspect in a third in Alaska. And there's multiple agencies working on looking at all the other places he's lived in, particularly South Africa, where he lived for 40 years before moving to Alaska. So... you just never know what all he got up to, right?
What type of stuff do you do on the internet? What do you like to do on the internet?
Oh, I play games. I've got a game called Minecraft that I play. Mm-hmm. The game that my wife and I play, it's one that I met her on called Realm of Empires. We play that. We've got a little thing called Dakota Farm, which is like Farmville kind of thing we play. I play on Facebook. I'm interested in architecture and building. I'm always researching that. Lowe's is probably my most favorite page on my whole computer. I'm always looking for things to build, and that's what you'll find.
Sure. And what
and
else?
you'll find some.
He actually is almost. Don't you think it sounds like he's bragging? I shouldn't even say almost. It sounded to me like he's bragging about like the many interests he has, the many games he plays, the many interests he has. Likes to build things, all the things they'll find on his computer. Vanessa said, "Did we cover this?" We did. We covered it. We've deep dived it. We've got multiple episodes and a playlist, so you can check it out if you want to. If you missed it, okay, the playlist is in the description box. So yeah, this guy's already been. This was the day he was arrested. He's already been on trial. It was a 3-week trial. The jury deliberated for less than 2 hours, and they came back with guilty on all 14 counts, and it's all related to the 2 murders. And so he was sentenced to 226 years in prison in Alaska. And let's see if he's ever charged with any other murders.
Naughty stuff, yes. I mean, every man's got some naughty video somewhere.
I think he's kind of naughty, and every man, it's a little different, hey? I think if we read the room, yeah, whatever's on his computer, yeah, can't relate.
Yeah.
Okay. We kind of thought that you would want, in your words, at least an explanation for what could have happened and why you did this.
If I did this, I don't know why. I can't think in my mind why I would do something. The fantasies that Alicia and I had would not be this.
These are exactly the fantasies that you and Alicia talked about. And you said you were trying to one-up each other, and I understand that. And that may have just been fantasy. But what it was kicking, hitting vaginas, strangling, right? That's what you talked to her about. If you took what you and her talked about and laid it side by side with this video, it would be the same thing. It's the same fantasy, except if you did it with Alicia and it was fake, you carried it out with this person and it was real. And then the next day, reality sunk in and you didn't know what to do with her body. All right. And so, but you can't. I don't think you can sit here and tell us that you're going to stay with, I only remember finding her in the back of my truck and not knowing what to do. And I have no idea what I did before that. Even though all this evidence shows you where you were, who you were with, and that you did it. I mean, you can hear yourself telling her that. What's preventing you? What are you scared? What are you scared of? What's preventing you from just letting it out? And do you think that we're going to judge you or not believe what happened, or do we think? I mean,
no, I don't want to admit to something I haven't done. I don't know how to pronounce it. You say I've done it. You've got evidence. I'm not denying that. That's my truck. You saw me apparently pushing this thing. I'm not going to call you a liar.
And we see you choking her, standing on her neck.
You're saying you got video of me doing,
talking about killing her and die, bitch, and telling her to die, and getting mad when she starts gasping
You're
for air.
You're interfering with my drinking time.
It sounds like something I would say.
You did say it.
Yeah.
She's not dying fast enough. She's interfering with your drinking time.
You can say 20 hours later. Going on now, 20 hours later.
You just need to learn how to be serial killed.
"20 hours later."
You're telling her that.
Yeah.
It's like you're playing it for a audience.
And you're describing everything. You're describing where you put your thumb and your finger.
I know these details are horrendous, so trigger warning. I've got it on the screen there. I've shown the trigger bunny. There's not much more I can do. It's horrendous what they're describing that he was saying to the victim in those videos. Right? So if you need to step away, please know we will always save you a seat. Okay? Because I know this is a lot. It's extremely intense.
To cause the blood flow to stop. You described that.
That is what we did with Alicia.
I understand that.
Yeah,
you did do that with Alicia. I get that, but it's different here.
Yeah.
Because this is somebody that
Well,
nobody's going to know.
Yeah.
And you even said when you dumped the body, you were hoping that somebody would find it so it would get taken care of. Yet you said you took this blanket in the tarp and you dumped it somewhere else so it wouldn't be so obvious.
Yeah.
So she wouldn't get found.
So she wouldn't get found. You didn't want her to get found.
Because they'd see that. You said they'd see that. That thing sticking out there, they'd see that.
You weren't anticipating that we were going to get a hold of this card, and you weren't anticipating that the railroad was going to drive by and see bones laying on the side of the railroad track. You didn't anticipate that.
What do you think a normal person, reasonable person, if I came out and I found a dead body in the back seat of my car or in the back of my truck, what would a reasonable person who's never had any contact with the law, as far as I know, right? Never had any negative contact with the law. There's video there that would explain it, right? If somebody put that body in the back of your truck, why would you not call it? A reasonable person would call the police and say, hey, I found a dead body. What they wouldn't do is wait 2 days, keep the dead body in the back of their car, drive it home, park it in the driveway, and then take it out to a spot and not only dump the body over the guardrail, but take the other stuff that's with her to a different place. What does that look like? And then take pictures of her in the back of your truck.
Yeah.
So nobody else could have done that.
I know. I'm not. I was the only person there when I dumped her. That's
so you're the only person that could have taken that photo, and it's on this SD card of you killing her.
Okay, yeah. Your question was, what would somebody do? Normally, I would just what the hell? I'd run and phone the police.
Okay, but this time you didn't. Why?
Because I had been with a girl, and if I have to bring this up, it would come out, and my wife would find out that I'd slept with somebody.
Well, you were with a girl, and your wife is going to find out.
Yeah.
And you killed her.
This is not the girl I was with.
Exactly. So she has nothing to do with that other girl. So you call the police, say, "Hey, somebody put a body in my truck." How would that come back to you cheating on your wife with a girl?
No, because then
your wife knew you went to the hotel. You weren't at home.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if me finding this, okay, if the police have to investigate, so where does it come from? They want to know where I was, and that's when they would have found out that I'd been at the hotel with somebody. That's the point I'm trying to make. That's why I was scared. My wife is going to find out that I've cheated.
You weren't scared
on her.
about that, because what else would the police have found out? The police would have went there and got those cameras from that hotel,
and then we would have seen you
and we would have
pushing
seen
her
you.
out of the
We'd have seen
hotel.
that you rented the room.
To me, I was scared my wife's going to find out I'm cheating on her. That's what I like. What the hell? And I can tell you, this is the.
What about the KFC as well, right? Oh, with this guy. She's like, she doesn't like it when I have KFC and she's going to find out I was cheating. I think she'd be more upset about finding out that you're a killer. How about that?
The most weirdest, messed up thing that's ever happened in my life.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, I would hope that this is the only time this has ever happened in your life.
Yeah.
Even though you're telling other people and her while you're killing her that it's not. You're telling her that you're a serial killer, and you are telling Alicia that you're a serial killer. Right?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
You told her that.
Yeah, initially her and I were just like a one-on-one, and then I'd add on more and more people as I...
And like you said, we have your Google record. We have your phone records, which go back, since you've had the phone. But we got your Google records that go back to since you've been in this country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we're going to see every single spot you've ever been with that phone. And that might lead us to some stuff. That might lead us to something else.
It's probably going to lead us to the dumpster. It's going to lead us to wherever you pulled over and picked her up at. It's going to lead us to if you actually got alcohol with her prior to going to the hotel. Right?
The girl with the short hair... Okay, do you have a pencil? A pen, yeah. Let me just show you.
Oh my goodness.
We'll be able to find her.
Now he wants to draw a little bit.
Or if you say she's
Yeah, she works
narcissistic,
there,
it's not
she's
going
got
to be
short hair.
and I'm not worried about her. She's alive, hopefully.
This road does this. Yes, the prison. Yes, this road goes down like that. Yes, the homeless shelter. There's like a little entrance here. So yes, the homeless shelter. Here's a road, and here's a road. I found school over here. We spoke about getting a drink, going for a drink, and we realized it's too late, and we stopped over here. So it was right in front of the homeless shelter. If you drive out the entrance, right there is where we bought the vodka.
Okay.
And I went and dropped her off right inside there.
You bought the vodka from some other person there?
There were some homeless people there. And I didn't drink any of it.
Okay.
I know that. I didn't.
Why does he think suddenly scribbling is going to help his case? Like, let me scribble something and tell you about some other lady he picked up. He always deflects the story around. At this point, that makes no sense. Ned said, has Wal-Mart made an appearance in this interview? Yes, it has. We watched a video of him in the Wal-Mart before this started. And yes, he went to Wal-Mart on this day, right before the murder was committed. The second one, right? Wow. So, guys, I think it's been a lot right now. I would like to come back for part 2, okay? I think people also need to get into this a bit and do some homework to know what case are we looking at, so that we can all talk along and be on the same page. So if you haven't done your homework yet, you know, sometimes here at Grizzly True Crime, you get assigned homework. So you have some homework to do, okay? There's a deep dive video that that we've done together before, but you can check out the replays on the playlist. I'll put it in the description. It's in the description box, right? And I'll put it in the chat in a moment. So please go check that out. Familiarize yourself with the case. You can also read the description box. And then let's come back and watch part 2, because it's very long. We've only watched 1 hour and 46. Maybe there'll be a part 3 for all we know. We'll see how it goes, right? So, but we'll be back soon. So make sure you are subscribed with your notifications on so that you come back for part 2. Keith said his rear won't be homeless in the big house. And thank you for your stickers, Keith. I really appreciate it. Thank you again to Interrogation Files for this. If you want to go and check out the video on his channel, please go check it out. It's in the description box, and go subscribe over there and say you're a Grizzly, okay? Say where you're coming from. We got to show him some Grizzly love. So everyone, thank you for being here with me for this day. We've gone almost to 3 hours now, so I think that's a lot for day 1 of this, part 1. Remember, I've already covered a summary of the trial and all of that. So if you go watch the homework, right, you'll be all caught up, and you'll find out also where to see some more of the trial, and you'll see clips of the trial. I'm also going to put that unlisted video in the description for you. I made a whole bunch of clips that I collected for you of the trial. Okay, so in 5 minutes or so, check the description box. It'll be there. All right, everyone. It's on the playlist. It's just unlisted, so I'm going to make it clear for you. So I'll see you back very soon. Thank you, mods. That was intense. Everybody just make sure you look after your mental health, and we'll meet again soon. And I'm so glad there was justice for these victims, and I hope if there's any other victims that there will be justice for them too. Thank you so much for being here with me. See you soon. Bye.